Now we're live.
It says we
There
are.
it is. All right, we have to move closer, but be manly about
Well,
it.
I mean,
you know what I'm saying? Okay. What's going on, guys?
howdy,
It's Sunday night. Yay.
Danny Boyd. How did I know he'd be one of the first people in there? Don and Wendy English.
Of course, they're always here.
That's right, Jupiter Mustang. Look at the crowd.
Greg McDonald, John Stipach.
Yep.
2.2, 2.5 turbo in the Miata. The problem is you can't find replacements for those things. You can't get parts for them.
I know these people by their cars now because of the live stream car show. So I see their car when I read their
You
name.
see, right?
Right.
We're going to enter the Boss Garage car show. I have no idea. I think we're entering Plan Z. I have no idea what class. Uncle Kathy said that we need to do this. So
Plan Z will win it all.
Plan Z should win everything.
It should.
I love that car. Did you see? You can't appreciate that car unless it's in person and you can see the stance and just the way she sits.
Looking at it from the back, that is a great profile. The way it sits.
Yep.
It's great. There's Trudell.
Ah.
Unfinished project.
Of course.
Yep.
Matt Bradagno, that's Matt Canick. I got a story about him. I got a lot of stories. I put him in the car once in the garage, the fuel car, right? So, Matt, it's like I look at him like I expect him to be able to talk right back to us, right?
Right.
It's the kick and Dell. Why isn't our manly Mod Wilburn not mod? He's right here. He's modding right here.
I can log in and
Yeah, he can
give you the acts from here. No problem.
No, well, Fubar gives the act.
Yeah. The act is in the house.
So I'll tell you a story real quick, right, about Matt. So he's a mechanic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like me, he worked out of his house, right?
Yep.
No, actually, he was a bus mechanic. And he did stuff out of his house, too, right?
Yeah.
So he comes over to the house one day. He's helping me put the fuel outfit back together. And we were getting ready to go out and run it. So we bolted everything together, and I wanted to just run it on gasoline. Okay.
Right.
So I filled the squirt bottle, one of the infamous, Emery squirt bottles. I filled the squirt bottle, and I said, Matt, get in the car and hold the brake. Okay. Because it's got a centrifugal clutch, a high gear, so there's no neutral. So I wanted to just hold the brake, So he gets in the car, and I'm only intending to run it on the squirt bottle. I filled the squirt bottle with gas. I only wanted to run it long enough to get it hot, make sure oil pressure was good, make sure everything was okay. And because the pump has to spin wet, right? I put 5 gallons of nitro in it, 100%, no alcohol, right? Just to keep the pump wet.
Okay.
All right. So I start the car, and he's in there, right? And I'm like, I'm going to hold the brake, and I'm feeding it on the squirt bottle. I was just sitting there going, and he's like holding it, right? And just as I'm almost to the bottom of the squirt bottle, right? Like the motor's hot and everything now, and I'm like, I have to, right? So I go like this, I'm gonna hold the brake hard, right? So he grabs the brake with 2 hands and he pulls down, and he reaches down and turns on the fucking nitro, right? So it's like, and there's shit blowing off the walls. The sheetrock was peeling. I had shelves all over the place and things that just jumping off the shelves. So this is inside the 2-car garage, right? So this thing's running, and he's like, his eyes are big, and I'm like, hold the brake, right? So he's holding the brake. I reach over and grab the throttle, whoop, and it fucking, jump off the fucking jack stands, whoop. He's like this, right? So we ran this thing until I hear it start to go lean, right? And I'm looking around, and you can't see anything. And the whole garage is just gold fog. Like, you can't see this.
See your eyes and those just burn on fire.
Yeah, beyond, right?
Oh, yeah.
It was the ultimate dose, okay? So I hit the fuel shut off, right? And I ran outside, and I'm on the lawn, and I'm trying to catch my breath, and I'm coughing, and I'm hacking and shit like that. I'm rolling around on the floor trying to catch my breath. And he comes here, I look at the house, and out of the garage, right, it's just this golden fucking cloud just blowing out of the garage. And here comes Matt, running out, throwing up on himself. It was a crazy. He was laughing his ass off and throwing up at the same time. No, I didn't kill him.
But he didn't let go of the brake.
He held on the brake.
He's the most important thing.
Matt, do you get flashbacks? If somebody walks up to you and goes, whoop, do you get flashbacks?
Paul Shields there. Paul Shields is the concierge for Frank Hawley's drag racing school.
Oh, really?
I just saw him go by. Really good guy. I would highly recommend that program. I'm not a driver per se, but I wanted the experience. They're first class, and that's who you're going to interact with if you talk to him, is Paul Shields.
Okay.
Good guy.
Matt is saying it was like God screaming in my face. It was, right?
Oh, yeah. Chris Greenaway. How's Garage Mahal? Garage Mahal is awesome. Chris, I was moving stuff from the swampy old shop. There's water literally up to my ankles there. And when I got to the new shop, the floor is so clean, I took my shoes off to let my socks dry and didn't get my feet dirty at all.
Yeah, he's been here for the last couple of days helping me get everything moved over.
It's been a blast. We've gotten a lot moved.
Yeah. Well, we're done, really.
Yeah.
Tony, sell me the 67 Dodge GT. No. All my cars. But if I ever bleed on the car, it automatically becomes mine. Like, and I can't sell it.
Andy Wood is in the house.
Andy Wood, Unity Motorsports Store. The Andy Wood. Big Bear.
Big Bear. That's Andy's enforcer right there.
He's awesome. Is he Andy's enforcer?
Well, he can't be tonight.
Because he does a pretty good job on our channel, I think.
Need Metal is. I bet Need Metal is one interesting guy based on his comments. I get that impression.
Matt says the fuel was splashing off the sheetrock directly into my face. Great time.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to do it again, brother, man. I'm going to burn nitro again. It ain't going to be in a tube car. I'm going to do it in a door car. But we're going to do it again before I drop dead. It's going to happen again.
Good to see you on here, Paul Shields. Good to see you, man. Minton Made Muscle, he has a cool car. And he was the only one who had his car on a chassis dyno in the photos for the live show. I thought that was cool.
Let's see. Daniel Thurston, thank you, sir. We've had plenty of slant love on this channel. Any other oddball engines you would consider for the Miata? No.
It's going to be great.
It has to be a slant. And I'm thinking it has to be a 170. Because I want like a high RPM, you know. I just here's the deal, right? I want to go order across the car, so I want to be able to put it in first gear. You know, I'm going to do a torque light. I think may go to stick, but right now in my head it's a torque light. But I want to just put it in first gear and be able to run the thing the whole way through $7 grand and just you know do that. So. And I've been wanting to build a 170 now for a long time, so that's what I'm going to do.
I made a transmission suggestion, and you guys won't know what it is, and we don't need to tell them. We'll just find out. We'll see.
There's a few different transmission choices, but I'm just leaning towards the simplicity of, you know.
Hope Hardin's enjoying the 318 vids. Yeah, stick around. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Let's see.
Ajax
750. You mentioned the slant for the six. Yeah, AJ, you may be the one that got in my head with that. But I think several people did. Several people mentioned that. But it may have been your original idea. And it's stuck in my head.
He has a cool ride with the center lines and that green, that big C body.
Yeah. I think so. I saw that.
Yeah, you remember it too. That's a cool car.
You guys going to Carlisle this year? He is, but I don't.
Carlisle.
I'm not. I won't go if there's a mask, any type of mask thing.
Several of the folks that are on this live right now will be at Carlisle, and we will probably do a live from there together. So any of you guys watching this, you can get with me. We'll do a live together from there. Dakota will have a. What comment just jumped? Dakota will have a field day with John D in here. Well, we'll time him out if he gets out of line.
Ron Moore says he fixed the clutch on his Roadrunner today. The fine folks at Ram didn't stake the lever pivots well enough. Oh, that happens. We're back in business.
They're wanting to see an aluminum block in the Miata.
I can't, I can't find a good one, right? People have sent me pictures and I've talked to a few different people about aluminum blocks, but everyone that comes up has issues on the deck, and I just don't want to deal with it.
It's an open deck block too.
Yeah.
It's gotta be hard to deal with. Somebody's asking where much. I'm in Christiansburg, Virginia.
Thoughts on Whistling Diesel? That's the kid that just ravages stuff. He buys
just likes
things
to destroy things for views.
Yeah,
I don't watch him some of that stuff out of principle. I don't like to just worthless destruction of old stuff that survived all these years until.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I like Neutral Drop. Neutral Drop does the same thing. You know, he just destroys shit, but he destroys late model stuff that's like literally you're on his way to the scrapyard anyway.
Yeah, he actually is recycling it for more purpose than it would otherwise have.
Right.
Is it bad to go into paint? What do you mean, like as a career? I wouldn't touch it. But I don't know if that's what you're asking.
Do you mean astrophysically? You know, to actually meld with the paint?
You mean basketball? I don't know. There's a lot of things that can get from that. If someone on there said I disagree with 2 bars the Super Mod, I would agree with that. Thank you for
the kick and Dell. I mean, I'm going to put your flag up tomorrow, brother man. Thank you.
Oh, I saw that. That's cool.
I mean, you're already planning on running a Chrysler power plant, a rebadged Fomoco product. Might as well run a Chevy transmission. No, man, it's too much. I'm literally gonna wire it as like a 63, 64 A body. So it'll have, you know, the simplest wiring circuits. And I want everything to just be like easily uniform. You know, it's like, okay, mechanically it's a slant 6 start, you know.
Andy Wood, 7429.
Thank you, sir.
Much.
You shouldn't have said that, Andy. You should don't.
That wiring improvement on the Miata would be an improvement all in itself, even without the engine.
Yeah, absolutely. Go over and subscribe to Unity Motorsports Garage. He just did a live with David Vizard yesterday. I missed it. I gotta catch up on that.
I didn't have enough phone signal to watch it. I was trying, but that was so interesting.
I saw it. I stopped in real quick and I saw that it had just ended. So I just haven't caught the replay.
Andy, please, if you would, leave that live up. I want to go back and watch it. That's one live I would want to watch after it's over.
Well, ask him if he wants to do one with us.
Yeah.
I'd love to have him on here.
Yeah.
It's Louis Marfoglio. That's Chef Lewis. The Chef Lewis. Not that he has a YouTube channel or really any reputation, but it's Chef Lewis.
Can you bore a slant to accept Hemi pistons?
What? Why?
How?
How? When? I mean, okay. You're good at reading these things.
Yeah, well, this one's kind of funny. This is where the comments jump. Unlike the YouTube user side, they kind of jump a little.
I've gotten used to looking at this now.
Yeah. John, how real is that move? Oh, he must be talking to a Yeah, see, they jump like 5 at a time.
Poor Cavazola, how did you make out the tornadoes in the area? They went north and south of us. Like they just came to my neighborhood and went like this. So yeah, we got completely missed.
My grandpa rolled a T-bird over himself. See, and then it jumps like half the page. Paint was embedded into his skin for months. Ouch.
Have you ever heard of a 69 Charger using an 8 1/4 rear? Yes. Later half of 1969, they started bringing the 8 1/4 in for the lighter duty cars, 318, slide 6 and 318 cars.
Yep.
By 70, that was the standard low duty, light duty rear was the 8 1/4.
I kind of like some of those oddball things, like Just Mopar Joe has a 70 Challenger with a 7 1/4.
Oh yeah.
And then the 69 Charger, I've seen one of those with a 225 slant 6, which is very uncommon.
The funny thing about an e-body with a 7 1/4 is that it's so wide.
It looks like
it looks like a tumor in the middle of
right. Of course, he broke his a little bit. But.
Let's see.
Can you stroke a slant 6?
It's already got too much stroke as it is. I'd want to de-stroke it.
Right.
The problem with de-stroking it is that the deck is so far away from the crankshaft that it's like then the rod's already too long. You got to go an even longer rod. So
what you can do is you can de-stroke a 225 and just get a 170, and it's already done for you.
This is what I'm saying. I like the ones I'm going. The Miata is going to get a 170. I can hear that thing screaming right now.
That's going to be a happy combo. What do you think the weight difference is going to be?
The difference is in the block weight, and the block is 40 pounds lighter.
40 pounds?
Yeah.
Wow, I thought it'd be more than that.
Wait, it was a Louis Vuitton. Fuckhead sent us a popular Sheffield logo so I can send you some rubs to put on your fucking meat. You barbecue and you like them. Maybe I'll use your name. I designed them for you. Yes. So, okay. Louis, you sent me a few texts. I didn't get a text from you. I never got a text from you, Louis. Right? Louis, he's a chef, and we're talking about doing some different things under the UTG logo. So I can't say anything more than that, but that's what that's all about.
So Michael McCormick thinks that maybe some slot mags could put Plan Z under. Yes, it could, and I may have a couple.
Well, here's the thing. Slot mags are heavier than the centerlines I have on the back, right? But I want a set of 4-inch, 4.5-inch center slots for the front. But truthfully now, the what's on the car right now are 13 by 4.5s on the front. They're steels. They're really light. I mean, I can't tell you exactly how much lighter, but I'll almost guarantee they'd be the same weight as a slot because the slot's very thick aluminum. It's a super lightweight rim. So let me just see what happens with it.
Rod there is asking how much you used to deck the 225 to get to 9-to-1 compression.
You take 100 off the deck. Get you to 9, like with the stock. The stock compression height varies. You know, it's just one of those things that different engines are gonna have a little bit different. You know, but 100 off the deck or 100 off the head will get you into that 9-to-1 range.
What question are you asking, Gonzo? It's the first time I've seen it.
Yeah.
How far are you from your new shop from Columbia? How far is it from Columbia?
Columbia is 10 miles, 30 miles to Columbia from the new shop. 40 miles to Columbia from here where I live.
Burning magnesium. Oh, maybe. You need a 65 dark to fill out your collection.
No.
We have a 64 and a 66, I think is what he means.
Yeah, I have, yeah, no more. Have you seen the price of 65 dark front trim? Like literally, it's like, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
The candy canes, right? You could buy a whole 64, like running a 64 for what you pay for the trim on the front of a 65.
It's kind of like the 68 Cornet and some of these weird things, the 1 year 70 Roadrunner, the 1 year only stuff.
Can we get a caravan burnout? You disappointed me today with Battle Rocket. I was fully expecting you to go out and just like romp it, you know?
I need to like fix
Instead you
more
just throw some
stuff.
puddles.
I need to fix more stuff before I break more stuff.
But you would have been doing me a favor by breaking it before we take it to the track.
You want somebody else to break something.
You do realize
so that you can just like put it off on.
You do realize it broke something.
Well, I ran it out of gas.
You ran out of gas, but I actually broke something.
What'd you break?
Pinion stubber.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
I was pulling out to come home here, and I see a piece of like rubber laying in the middle of the parking lot. I'm like, motherfucker! I broke the pinion stubber. Tony, how do you feel about black paint? I feel a tad apprehensive, a bit standoffish.
You can get black paint in the can.
Chris Greenaway comes up. Chris, do you spend all week just like writing down questions? Ever burned magnesium before? Of course, who hasn't? Gonzo 15, I want my daughter to meet you before she needs your help on anything. She might need your advice sometime. Oh, she's in Columbia? Yeah, that's cool.
Do any of your dogs ride motorcycles?
No, none of my current, no.
You got a chicken that drives a car.
I got a chicken that does burnouts, yeah.
I saw the aftermath of that in his driveway. The evidence is still. Yeah.
Matt S. Tony, I wonder if nitrogen in the tires would help lighten Plan Z instead of it. Not really, no.
Basket case 70 charger. Oh, man, that thing just jumped. Basket case 70 charger, 500 SE be worth it for 8,500?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's
Basket case?
Yeah.
Depends
Is it
on-
complete? Is it complete but rough, or
Yeah.
stuff missing? What's the difference?
But you do realize that a 7,500 is not the same as a 6,500.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
7,500 was like a normal trim, like you go into any dealership and order your car, and you check off the trim level of 500. It's not like a 69,500, which has a special grille, special back glass, right, and an XX in the VIN.
Right.
So, well, for that, since $20. Thank you, sir.
It's a Daytona without the.
Some extra gas I was running back and forth in the new shop. I'm used to making my commute like real quick. So yeah, it's a run to go to the new place.
Mopar Den kicking in gas money. Andy's having track withdrawals. Well, join the club.
Clark Burba, what's your take on Rust-Oleum spray paint jobs on cars? I'm going to paint my record with Rust-Oleum. I like brush on Rust-Oleum underneath cars, because it cleans up really well and it's a quick brush touch up. You know what I mean? So I really like Rust-Oleum.
If you want to try to do a really nice Rust-Oleum paint job, Paint Society has good tips on that. How to spray it and clear it and prep it to try to get really maximized results from the spray can. If you want to do that.
There is a whole cult built around the Rust-Oleum paint job.
Yeah. As much as it costs, I don't blame them.
But the thing is, that's not true. My green duster rather, I have, I think, under $500 in the entire paint job, including the sandpaper and the primer and everything else. So it's a myth that paint jobs are expensive.
But somebody would happily have charged you $10,000 to do a paint job.
Yeah.
So the paint prices are all over the place. That's what contributed to it.
Tony, I think you were done painting with Garage Mahal. No, I'll be painting outside.
Jake Borg, who earlier said he didn't like Plan Z, he's talking about a straight axle for it.
No, actually, it's funny you mentioned that, right? Steve Magnante did a build. He did a straight axle, like a gasser style dart, and he pulled the K-frame, the lower control arms, upper lower control arms, and torsion bars out, and replaced it with a set of leaves and drop axle and all the stuff that goes with that. And he weighed them, okay? And the stock front suspension, the stock Mopar front suspension was 139 pounds altogether, right? And the drop axle stuff was almost 200 pounds. So yeah, no, it's not a lighter thing unless I go for a thin tube axle and all the other shit. No.
What do we have? How many likes do we have right now?
We have 290 people on.
Because I see Dakota there. So normally we schedule a timeout by number of likes.
Let's see. John did
Yeah,
show
yes,
something
I
that
did. I did.
Which
I sent it to Kathy. The one he sent me. Yes, I did.
Let's see. Make it a convertible. I don't know what he's talking about.
Make it a convertible. If you made Plan Z a convertible, it would implode.
No, yeah, the roof holds that thing together.
Exactly.
No. What toppings do you put on pizza? Sean, the person wants to know. Meat, right? No pepperoni, right? I don't like pepperoni on a pizza. It overpowers everything else. Let's see. Joe K, do you think this whole tuning crackdown thing is going to push demand and prices of classic cars even higher? Yeah, I absolutely do. The other night, I was binge watching, I don't know, one of these freaking shows, right? When I go to junkyards and they're right, and I'm looking at that saying, those things are all going to they're going to get vacuumed out of these junkyards and whatnot because, yeah, if they do go through with, really clamping down on the tuners and stuff like that, and they get draconian with all of the various rules, that's what's going to happen. Everybody's just going to swarm to the old cars and build them the old way.
Chris Greenway says another F-body for sale in his area, trying to figure out his next deal. But you have Firebird, and then you were looking at a Montego, and now an F-body. So Just kind of got a lot going on there.
Unfinished projects. Paint schedule for Plan Z. I want to run the car first, and now that we're done with the move, it'll happen soon. We'll get the car out soon, within the next week or two, and then after that, we'll look at painting it.
Need metal. It's funny. We actually were talking about that today. I flipped one over on the stand with one hand, and I thought, oh, wait a minute, I needed a button to push to do that.
The Kickendale, so thank you, brother. Stop sending money. You're one of the few people. Don't send me money. Thank you. Extra money for floor wax.
That floor is nice.
It is nice.
It is. I was kind of nervous setting my jack stands down on it because I didn't want to scratch it.
But that's why I want to leave the front of it pristine.
Yes.
Yes. Virgin and pristine.
Panther pink for Plan Z. It's going gold, right?
If it was a 70, yeah, but the car it's got a 67 grille, so.
Trudell says wrap Plan Z in vinyl. Ooh.
No.
That's immoral.
Brian Berger, paint weighs too much for Plan Z. No, I want the car to look nice.
Both of you favorite color on what? Arguably a dark green for me, maybe. I don't know.
I like dark. I like orange. I like blue. I like pink. I love pink for some reason. It's like just a happy color. I like hot colors. I like all of the hot colors. The dirty knobs coming to you from Sedona.
Patio furniture. A seagull took my sailor hat. Do we want to know how a seagull took your sailor hat and where you were for that to happen?
62 Valiant, Don Williams, 62 Valiant. I like white. I think white is actually a really good color for a car. White shows off the car.
It does.
You know what I mean?
It does. I like the white on a Fairlane for some reason.
Yeah, it's not an exciting color, but it shows off the car. For the Superbirds, my favorite, I think the most beautiful of the Superbirds were the Alpine white ones.
Do you run less ignition timing with rotated pistons, like if you do the swap?
I couldn't answer. I really couldn't give you a direct answer on that. I've never tried to see the difference between running.
What's the best first project car for someone who doesn't know much about wrenching on old cars? I would say something common.
Yeah.
Like the 350 Chevy, the Fox body, something common. Any amount of guess.
A high volume, a high production volume economy class car, right? So that'll put you in your Darts, Falcons, Novas. I'll tell you what, you can get some screaming deals on the off Novas, right? The Oldsmobile Omegas, the Pontiac Venturas, the Buick Apollo, right? I mean, like literally, you can get like screaming deals, like a 72 Nova, 73 Nova is going to cost you, let's say, $15,000 to $20,000 for a clean one. You can buy the equivalent brand X Nova for like $5,000.
And if you want 3 times more people looking at your car at a car show, that's the thing to do.
Yeah, you know something? That's actually really good advice. Now that I think about it, right? That's really good advice. The off-brand Novas, the Buick, Pontiac, Oldsmobile Novas are the.
You get a unique off-brand car with none of the hassles that come with most unique off-brand cars.
And 100% of the parts interchangeability. The only thing that's different between those cars and a Nova is the grille and the taillights.
Unfinished project wants to know how the Dart Sport's coming. It's coming great. It's been really cold. I haven't touched it for winter, and as soon as I get that 318 done, I'm going to get my front end done on the Dart Sport, and you guys will see it. The parts are all in though.
Ajax 750. Have you ever painted a car with a brush? It makes people at car shows jealous of your shit. Yeah. You'd be styling with that brush on a paint job. I painted my Caravan with a brush. That's yellow. That's gloss sunrise yellow Rust-Oleum.
You did the roof of Bottle Rocket with a brush.
I did the roof of Bottle Rocket with a brush also.
See, y'all didn't even know that.
J. Russell French. Next thing to break on Bottle Rocket gearbox. No, I already broke one of those. I crunched second gear. No, that's way in the past. I broke the next thing today. I broke the pinion snubber on it. I popped the clutch. I go boom. You know what I mean? Like kind of the way you're supposed to. But it was like a little bit sharper maybe. So I guess it was just metal hitting instead of the rubber. And then later on, I pulled the car back in the shop, and I was going to pull out to drive home. And I look as I passed where I hit the clutch, and there's the top of the pinion snubber just laying in the parking lot. So I already broke the next part today.
You want me to show them a little video I took?
Sure, sure.
Yeah, I'll show you guys the pinion snubber getting broken.
There's actual video footage
of
the pinion snubber breaking.
And give this thing just a second here. So this is videos from the new shop.
I got no traction. But that's not when I broke the snubber. I broke the snubber when I turned it around.
Oh, on the other pass.
Going the other way. So why did you not hammer the car? I was very disappointed in that.
That's all right. Yeah. Well, I mean, we live to race again another day. You never
know. Let's see. Dallas is building a Lemons car now. Yeah, they're building a Mercedes, a Buick-powered Mercedes. I think that's really cool. I may go to the race with them.
It does make a Mercedes much cooler to do something like that.
It does. You know what amazed me is how light the Mercedes is when you strip everything out of it. I mean, it's like, I swear to God, it's like a Fox body.
Yeah, they have all that unnecessary complication, but you can actually get it out.
Yeah.
Are you a fan of convertibles at all? A little bit.
How do you set up a rear end with feeler gauges? I have no idea. How do you set up a rear end with feeler gauges?
Maybe he's talking about setting the axle bearing in play. Maybe. Like on an 8 3/4.
You mean on the
yeah, it could be.
I've never used a feeler gauge.
Or maybe he's talking about actually setting up the chunk. Like trying to use a feeler. I'm just guessing here.
Well, how do you get into the pinion? It's all the way on the other side of.
I set the pinion depth by measurement, and then I set the backlash by feel.
Yeah, backlash by feel. Mm-hmm. Which is why I never do a video about it, because I'd have like 10,000 experts right now. You can't do it that way.
Dean Brown is asking if I got to drive Miss Landy. No, not this time. Maybe in the future. I'll tell you what. I can't stop looking at that car. It looks so happy, and it's sitting in that garage. It just looks so happy.
Do I remember the 1968 GTO 20? Of course I remember. Of course. How do you not know the 68 GTO?
Who wants a car with a hole in its roof? Not me. We talked about that today.
What car is that?
A car with a hole in the roof, like a sunroof or a
oh yeah, I Jake Borg, a bit of paint on the pinion gear will mark the ring gear with the pressure points of ring. Well, why would you use white lube?
Yeah, you can run that. You can use anything to mark it.
Do a K car build? No. If somebody else wants to do a K car build and do it at my place, yes.
Ajax says if you can't get the backlash right with feeler gauge, let me tell you, you can put a dial indicator, a really nice dial indicator on your ring gear and get a measurement, and then take it down and set it up exactly the same and get a different measurement. You can never get that thing. I gave up trying.
I set my first rear end up by feel and by eye when I was like 15. Yeah. And I've done it ever since, right?
I measure the pinion depth, and so if you guys are doing it, I take a new Timken bearing and honed it to where it will go on the pinion without beating it on or pressing or whatever. And then you can get your pinion depth exactly right, because the variation is more in the case, not the gear set. So you want
that's the truth.
And then you make sure your oil clearance is right on your ring. And
generally speaking, okay, like dealing with, because I did 9-inch Fords for the top fuel car because we were on 9-inch Fords back then, just before everybody went to. So I did probably 100 gear sets of 9-inch Fords, and I've done countless 8 3/4 Chryslers over the years. And what I have found is that there's never a variation in the manufactured part. If there's a difference, it's always going to be in the case, right? So here's just the easiest rule of thumb. If you're not replacing the races that are in the case, so you're going to put new bearings, but you're not going to change the cases or the races rather, right? Just look and see if the pinion you took out has any shims on it. If the pinion you took out has shims, transfer those shims to the new pinion, put it together, and don't worry about it. Set your backlash and don't worry about it.
If you did that every time, you would be right more than 99 times out of 100.
Exactly. I have never had a problem based on pinion depth.
Uncle No Identity's asking, do you have a favorite high impact color? I like the orange.
Yeah,
the
orange.
C is just beautiful.
Hemi orange and B5
and I like
and butterscotch.
Well, I like lemon twist. My first car is lemon twist yellow.
You know, that's one of those things. It's like people always ask me, what's your favorite car? What's your favorite color? What's your favorite engine? What's your favorite this? What's your favorite that?
Why do I have to have one?
If you ask me like tomorrow, or you ask me in an hour, I'm probably going to give you a different answer because all those things are just dependent on my mood.
If I'm 500 miles from home and I find a really good deal on an engine, my favorite vehicle is a Caravan. If I'm wanting to win a stoplight race, my favorite vehicle is something else. I mean, it's you can't have one vehicle to rule them all. That's why the street strip car. I had a lot of problem with the street strip car until I finally gave up and said, Dark Sport is going to be a dedicated race car, and the 70 will be a dedicated street car. And I've never had more clarity and been easier to select parts and been happier.
I absolutely agree with that.
I got a more intelligent question. You guys have a favorite shirt? What do you mean by that? Like brand or something?
My favorite shirts are all I wear anymore are these things because Uncle Kathy just keeps feeding me shirts and says, "Here, you got to wear this."
Well, since he asked, I'll plug my friend Just Mopar Joe. He and I are doing the 318 build together. How's that? F8 green for me, yeah. As much as I like red, it gets a little bit lost to me on some of those cars because I like the orange so much.
Yeah, also I got it, man. I'm always prepped, ready for action.
Paint is overrated. I agree.
No, I like paint sometimes.
See, though, it depends on the age of the person making the comment, because I remember when I was younger, you had to have a nice paint job. And then we got into nobody cares about the paint job. And then we got into people making the fake patina, which I hate. That's just the most insincere thing ever. You either have real patina or don't try to create, deterioration. Could get into that. But I can appreciate both. Chris Greenaway says he quit looking for a 72 Montego GT. When I was in high school, a friend of mine had a Montego like that. It was a cool car. Quick for its size, too. Excel Super Coil or MSD Blaster? I like the Super Coil.
Yeah, I have a Super Coil fetish.
I have both, but
they weigh a lot, but I don't know, just for some reason.
They look very 70s.
Oh, they're bulletproof, too. They never go bad.
Yeah. Casper's patina is old-fashioned rust. See, Eddie didn't paint the truck. He had the graphics done to match the truck that was already patinaed. It looks great. Yeah, that's good. That's a good thing. Patina should never be desirable. Patina's okay to me when it tells the story of the car. I don't like fake patina. It looks so phony.
Well, that's like Bottle Rocket. I'm gonna polish what's there and leave it because I like the patina that's on it.
Yeah, exactly. I have a patina car. You guys are going to see it pretty soon. This guy says he wants to get everybody's opinion about Chrysler's vehicles from the 80s. And what do you think about them, or just thoughts about them? Well, that's a pretty open-ended question.
That's a pretty good question.
The Chrysler vehicles from the 80s? So it's after the classic era. What's redeeming after the classic era?
Well, I mean, the rear drive cars were rough. They were rough. You didn't have too many choices. I happen to love K cars. I love K cars. All of those derivatives of it. I don't have one, and I probably won't get one because parts are hard to come by. It's hard. It's much harder to do a K car. Let's say, or like let's say an Omni GLH or one of those. It's much harder and more expensive to do one of those cars than it is to do, let's say, a 60s A-Bike.
Yeah, there's no people didn't hoard the stuff.
Yeah.
And there's not a junkyard supply.
There's no support. Right. People keep asking, like, okay, why don't you put a 2.2 or 2.5 in the Miata, right? Because you can't get them. I can reach out on this, and say, hey, who's got a slant 6 lane in the backyard I can get for cheap? And there'll be like 10 guys pop up. I got one. Nobody's going to have a 2.2 or 2.5 that they're going to part with or anything like that. Heather Jennifer says she couldn't find an Omni GLH back when they were new. That's true. They were tough.
Oh, there were a couple of us asking for Wade Bottle Rocket. We were actually thinking of doing that today. We're supposed to do that today.
The last time we weighed it, it was Buff and I weighed it. It was 3,086 pounds, 3,085 pounds.
That was right after you put the 8 3/4 in.
It was right after I put the 8 3/4 in it. But I did take a couple of pounds out of it since.
Yeah, so people are talking about using, like Mike Iben there, top line converter, Mike Iben, suggested using a lighter weight battery in Plan Z. It's not a bad idea.
J. Russell Finch, Tony, your intention was never to drive Bottle Rocket. You're looking for someone to smash those gears. No, I'll do it myself. It has nothing to do with driving the car, right? That it has nothing to do with the actual act of sitting behind the wheel. It has to do with going places with the car, taking it to the track and doing other things, which I don't have the time for, right? Running this channel and doing this stuff is like a full-time deal. It's easier said than done. So I have no desire to go to drag strips anymore. I lived for years. Literally, I'm going to tell you, 7 days and nights a week. All I did was go to and from drag strips, to and from street racing things for years. That's all I did. And I have no desire to do that anymore. I want somebody who has the desire to do that and has the time to travel and the present, clear head to go travel and hit these races and stuff like that. I want them to do that. So it has nothing to do with sitting behind a wheel. I mean, I could drive that car like a freaking, it's nothing.
Kind of funny. The guy that I did the LS swap for years ago. So I'm kind of a granny driver. I drum the speed limit. Well, you rode with me. I'm a kind of a granny driver. And it's funny because he chastised me for not burning the tires off a Bottle Rocket today. So I did an LS swap for a guy, and he's riding in the car, just riding to get in the field. I burned through 3 gears, smoldering tires, around a car at an intersection. It just turned him white. So I got it in me. I just don't do it very often. I don't need to. I like the build better than the driving.
Rodney Harris, Plan Z lives inside now. Does it really need all of its glass?
I started asking that as soon as you put it in the garage.
Okay, first off, as long as I leave the glass in there, I have the option of leaving it outside, which is valuable to me. Second, the way the car is gutted, we measured, we had it yesterday. There's 1,200 pounds on the front. There's 900 pounds on the back. Okay, and what a lot of people don't realize is that glass is a strategic weight device. So you got to picture this now, right? You're sitting. You leave the starting line. Okay, all of the weight that's above the axle center line in the back tries to go behind the car. So what's happening is that weight, and it's actually a 60-pound difference total between glass and plastic, okay, on that car. So it's a 60-pound difference. But that 60 pounds is trying to transfer back and add weight to the rear of the car. So I would have to probably put a bigger tire on the back to equal the traction that I would get with that glass transferring back, and it takes more horsepower to turn the bigger tire.
Yeah, that kills it all the way down the track.
Right. So trust me when I tell you, that car is so strategically thought out, top to bottom, front to back, every bit of it There's a reason for each thing that was done to that car.
This guy was going to build a 90s Rampage with a 340. Did you ever build one or a similar car? I haven't, but it's funny you say that because you rarely ever see a 340 that's together.
It's true.
I mean, I've got two of them, and both of them were just drug out in pieces from crawl spaces from people who were going to build a Rampage in the 90s or something. It didn't happen.
Rodney Harris, so replace the rear driver's quarter glass with plexiglass. Why would I change just one window? It's good the way it is. Trust me, I like it the way it is. It's going to stay the way it is. The Duke of 5A. Thank you, sir.
The Fifth Amendment?
Oh, the Fifth Amendment.
I don't know.
You used as 2A.
Fifth Amendment, you know.
Well, okay.
Testify against yourself.
Yeah, we won't hold anything he says here against himself. I know of an alloy slant 6 block just north of Detroit needs a sleeve. I can ask my buddy if you're interested. Don't. Yeah, no. Thank you, though. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Chris Greenway wants you to do a Smoky Unix 7/8 scale Dart. That's kind of neat. Well, Dart is already a 7/8 scale Peabody. Right?
Andrew Button, he's right. Turbo 2.2 with a Rampage would be a better choice than a 320.
It really would.
Those Rampages, people are looking for those things. That's a collector's
Those
item.
things are cool.
And they're cool just the way they are.
Cool.
I would, put a Turbo 2.2 in it.
Sure. Repeal the 19th Amendment. I'm pretty good at civics, and I don't know what that is offhand.
Yeah.
Yeah. What bottle rocket needs 488s? I don't think so. Well, was it 456s in there now?
There's 456s in it.
Yeah.
And listen, don't tell me what bottle rocket needs until we've made runs with it, because I don't know what bottle rocket needs until we've made good, clean runs with it.
Drag Boss.
Drag Boss, thank you, sir.
That's a great channel. You checked out Drag Boss?
I have not.
Oh, you need to. It's all like old school pro stock.
Oh, really?
England stuff like that. Yes, it's a great channel. You need to see that.
But thank you, Drag Boss. And then check out his channel.
It's a great channel, really.
Let's see. Shout out to Dawson and Mason show. Dawson and Mason. Dawson and Mason show.
I like Nate Metal's sense of humor. I get a kick out of him.
What originally got both of you into Mopars over GM Ford, etc.? I had the umbilical cord wrapped around my neck, and they come out feet first, and that was it. So it was Mopar, that was it. That was the first word that came out of my mouth.
So I like all kinds of cars. I can appreciate all of them, but I really like Mopar's engineering. They're more fun to work on. Stuff makes more sense. You have a lot less of that looking under the hood and wishing it would go away with Mopar.
The kick and though. Bottle rocket needs 1, more track time, 2, more track time, and 3, Tony to push it until he launches a piston into lower Earth orbit. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Actually, we know the piston went into orbit right back there.
Yeah.
See that chunk on the table in the middle of the screen? That's a piece of piston.
We did a video about that, actually.
Yeah, that's right.
We did a video about that.
That's right. Chris Greenway wants to know why you don't recommend the F-body for a beginner car. Okay.
I don't know. It just never crossed my mind.
They're a little harder to find.
They're a little harder to find. Yeah, they're hard to find clean. They're hard to find, good parts for.
They're heavy and just a little bit overcomplicated, I think. They have a little too much clutter in the chassis and stuff.
Well, the transverse torsion bars and all, they handle really good. If you're building a handling car, an F-body is definitely superior.
They are good cars, though. If you can't afford the A-body, that's not a bad choice.
But if you're talking about somebody who's not brand specific, they're just looking to get their feet in the door because that's how I answered that question. I didn't answer the question, what's the best entry level Mopar?
Right.
I answered the question, what's the best entry level classic car?
Yes.
And for that, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The brand X Novas are the easiest, cheapest way to get in the door.
A BOP Nova would be far better choice if you don't care about.
And among the coolest ways. Because the low IQ guys only know Nova, right? Nova, I want Chevy Nova, it's going to be Chevy Nova, right? If you think a little bit, you get a Ventura, an Omega, an Apollo, right? you've got a rarer car that's got a higher level of trim and equally as cool for a third of the price.
Want to see a cool off-brand Nova? Watch Corvette Summer. There's one in a car chase. It's a.
I've never seen
I don't know
that.
if it's an Apollo. Oh, yeah, it's a neat movie. There's an Apollo, I think, at the end.
Go with the Pontiac Ventura, and you can clone a GTO. The '74 GTO was a Pontiac Ventura.
Kind of like your DD Speed Shop collaboration.
He was great. Yeah,
Cool.
we got cut short.
He's a neat guy.
I had to stop because things were getting a little crazy here with the weather. But we're going to do that again soon. Yeah, I love those guys. They are the salt of the earth. That's really good people.
Someone asked me about a 727 burnout. Okay, do it. I don't know what else to say about that. If you're going to do a burnout, that's a good
Don't take your foot off the
transition
gas in first gear.
Yeah, do your burnout in second.
Yeah, break the tires in first and then upshift. A-Star Creations, please try to get Dawson and Mason Show to 300 subs. Do you have the Dawson and Mason Show? Do you have any idea what it is?
No, I do not.
Let's see what it is. Mopar Dan, whatever happened to the guy with the Rambler sedan? Did he fix up that car? I think he still has it. I see him driving around town in all different cars. He's just an acquaintance. He's just somebody I met through a friend, or actually through Paige, who's my neighbor, who we're supposed to do a video with tomorrow. She's going to put points on her car.
Dawson and Mason Show streams.
Let's see what that is.
We'll pull it up right now.
Yep. John is going to be the judge as to whether or not Dawson and Mason Show should be promoted here.
No problem. I'll tell it straight.
Yeah, he's going to call it like it is. I'm too nice a guy. I'll look at it and I'll say, "Oh, that's great. You guys are trying really hard." He'll tell you if it sucks or not.
Oh yeah. Well, we'll come up eventually. We'll come back to that. Prices for the Fairmont and Zephyr go up. Yes, they are. I love the Fairmont.
Heather Jennifer says she had 5 68 to 72 Chevy Notas. Was 13 years old when I started building them. Started putting 500 Cadillacs into them. Excellent choice. That sounds like fun.
Yes. 500 Caddy, yes.
Yeah.
North Star, nope.
No North Star. Ooh, North Star, right? A 500 Caddy and an Nova? Yes, absolutely.
What sadistic person thought of that North Star design?
You think about it, right? Think about this, right? A 500 Caddy, okay, in just like a dead stock Nova. A dead stock 500 Caddy and a dead stock Nova.
All day.
It's like that'd be like a mid 14-second car that would just glide effortlessly. Just,
you could drive it 100 miles.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Those are such cool engines. You don't see much about them anymore. I hope somebody does something cool with a 500 Caddy on here.
Mid Muscle is debating offering my 2014 Sierra in favor of something pre-1980. Join the club, man. Do it. Join the club.
Got a guy checking out your old-fashioned breather mask back there.
Well,
Sean,
why were those old school masks on the table behind you? What was that?
I think he's just checking out your breather mask back
No, but he asked a question about it. Oh, you can't do that. Wait. Oh, you can't do that. I don't know. Ask that question again. I can't scroll back on this thing for some reason.
You can grab the bar there and slide.
No, you can't. It's not touch. Not touch.
Using with the mouse.
Oh.
Ah.
Can you? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm showing the person. Why were those old school masks on the table behind you outlawed in racing?
Oh, I see.
But because they changed the helmet standards.
How hard is to change axles, seals, and bearings on an 8 3/4? It's not bad at all.
They sometime around 1980 something, they made it had to be a full face helmet, right? Instead of an open face helmet. But the problem with that, how was the reason I used that instead of a visor helmet was because what happened to Al DePazzo. And I was like, you know what, right? It's just like, it ain't gonna fucking happen. I'm not gonna let that happen to me. So that's why I used that one back there.
Swamp Rat's here.
It's my brother, Swamp Rat, James, from the People's Republic of New Jersey. I think they're letting them out on their porch now. Can you guys go out on your porch in New Jersey yet? Oh, Dawson and Mason show. What did we find there?
Well, it hadn't come up yet. Oh, well, you know what they're doing? It's alive. So let me go to their channel. So there are 255 subscribers. Mason's new motor. I don't know what they're doing. They look like young fellas. Look at the videos. Mason's new motor, merch, treehouse, our big shout out. Let's see there.
Oh, sure.
They're giving you a shout out.
Oh, I see that.
Okay. Well, yeah.
They
look like good peoples.
Dawson and Mason, go subscribe to Dawson and Mason. Let's get them to 300 subs.
All right, they're at 255. We need to see 300. I'm going to keep refreshing this.
Oh, that's cool. So in New Jersey, they just got permission to watch us.
There you
That's
go.
important. That's very good.
How much paperwork and time and cost did it take to do that?
Did you have to file papers before you can watch a particular YouTube channel or anything like that? I know they have to have authorities come to your door.
Probably had to get like physical vaccinations and
vaccination. You definitely got to get vaccinated. I know that. Jonathan Couchy, $5. Thank you, sir. A 170 Slate 6 Miata would be fun. Yes. On another note, I've always wanted to Slate 6 swap a second generation Ram 1500.
Yeah, do it. That would be cool.
Yeah, why though?
Because that truck kind of has a cult following with the diesel guys. It'd be so neat to see a 6-cylinder that's not a diesel anymore.
It would have a hard time pulling that thing around.
Yeah.
Slants are soft. They're soft, weak little bunny rabbit motors. They're not.
You don't do that for a practical reason. There's no practical reason to do it. Well, okay, the big Rams that had them were dogs too.
Yeah, it's just I guess.
You got to do it because you want to do it. Coast Lotto reaction. Hello, gentlemen.
He's like 750. Stop sending me money. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to tell you to stop sending me money, Ajax 750. Bruce W. Yeah, I'm going to look for a 170 for the Miata. I absolutely want a 170. There were stories about them when they were developing the Slant 6, putting the 170 on a dyno and letting it run for $7,000 for days. So I absolutely want a 170 on that thing. I want to scream it. I want to put the Miata in first gear and just scream that thing around
There's Ari. He's in the house. Ari just flipped the pistons on his 225.
Ooh.
It's about to get serious.
Ari's a badass. Kalik Burba. What would you think if the federal government banned modifying all street cars?
Come and take them.
I'm not going to ban
anything I do.
I am so okay with things being banned and illegal. I have no problem with it. You got to realize that. I didn't have a valid driver's license until 6 or 7 years ago, 10 years ago. It was I just don't care, right? So go ahead, make it all illegal. It means absolutely nothing to me. I will be out there screwing around my stuff, and actually, I'll probably do it even more because if it's illegal, right, it becomes more fun. You know what I mean?
318 wheel runs on here. Great channel there. That's a fun channel. Says your cars look better in the new shop. They kind of do. They look happier.
Well, it's because they're not filthy. You got to remember the old shop was just filth, right? So all I did was pressure wash them before I brought them in, and they look good in there.
I'm gonna have to go get them dirty again.
No, I don't want to get dirty anymore.
Dawson and Mason show are on here. Hello.
We just gave you a shout out, brother man.
Don and Wendy English. Wendy's asking, do people have to have a mask in July? So let me tell you, last year at Carlisle, they were asking people for masks at the gate. I went inside. I didn't see 10 masks the entire time I was there on the ground. Nobody cared. That's what Carlisle was last year. That thing jumps, doesn't it?
Let's see. Yeah. Cleaner is lighter. Yes, it is.
True.
Cleek Burba. Someone's going to become a dictator in America soon. Just ask them to see what you thought. It's a guy who's heavy set and has golden hair.
Okay.
No idea what you're talking about.
Yeah. If he doesn't consult with me, I'm not interested.
Swap, but how the hell do you get a valid driver's license? I paid for the nose. I had my own money everywhere for, you know. I drove out a license for like 30 years.
My license, because of the timing and because of the COVID restrictions, I'm riding this ancient picture Cody, almost 15 years old.
Andrew Button, I had a friend who put a Tornado drive train in the back of a Corvair. I've seen that done.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
TH425. I would go out of my way to get a TH425 Chevy transmission. I'd like to just get in one.
Excuse me.
Zero's in the house.
Zero, what's going on, brother man?
People have been misbehaving. Look out.
Hey, Uncle Tony, when are we getting 440 content? I don't know. When I bring my charger over there and do some stuff on the charger, it won't be for a while yet.
You want to bring me a 440? I'll get you some content right away.
Mike Ivan, will the 170 spin faster than a 220? Yes. Two completely different engines.
And Mike can build you a converter for that.
Sled's Garage, love the channel, love the shop, and I love that you sent me $10, brother man. Thank you so much.
Bruce is asking me if I'm a trans mechanic.
No,
I don't know how to
male.
answer that, but no, I have a real estate firm. That's what I've done for the last 18 years.
You know, I figured out a way to get around all of that stuff.
What's that?
So you get in trouble, you know, you get canceled if you express a like or a dislike for any particular.
Right.
Okay. So what if you based it on the hip joint? I'm only attracted to people that have a 45-degree hip joint.
It doesn't matter. You're not allowed to have any input in any of it.
That's true.
You're not allowed any input in all of it. No, see, I got the trifecta. Real estate's my career, guns are my lifestyle, I teach firearms, and cars are my hobby. And if I keep that separation and trifecta, they all stay in their own happy place.
Let's see.
Dodge Dart 727 8 3/4 to 66 Dart. What size drive shaft do I need? What's the wheelbase on the 66?
What is that now?
66 Dart with a 727 and 8 3/4. Which drive shaft does he need? Is it the same wheel? Is it 111?
It's 111-inch wheelbase, but the motor is 2 inches further forward on an early A body.
That takes the longest drive shaft out there, then.
Yes.
Yeah. You might get lucky with a truck drive shaft if you took a tape measure out and measured a whole pile of them or something. You might.
Well, I'll tell you what. If it's a 727 and it's going in a 66 Dart with an 8 3/4,
I know where this is going.
I'm thinking the drive shaft from a 67 up Valiant 904 7 1/4.
Yeah.
Is going to be approximately the same length.
So if you want to play with numbers, the 727 is 4 inches longer than 904.
No, it's not.
Isn't it?
No, 2 3/4 inches.
Oh, okay. Not overall. Not the seal.
Well, the length in drive shaft difference is 2 3/4 inches.
The 8 3/4 to 7 1/4 is what? About 2.5 from the center of the axle to the pinion, right? I guess about 2.5 on the 8 3/4 to 7 1/4, and the 8 1/4. I can make this really easy for you, right? Go to the Christine Car Club. Christine, like, you know, the movie Christine. Go to the Christine Car Club. Oh, that's right. He did all that math. He made a chart on all that.
There's a drive shaft length chart.
Yes.
Okay. Now you're not going to find that combination in there, right? You're not going to find, because that really didn't exist in nature. The 766 with a 727 and 8 3/4 didn't exist. But find the length for a 67 727, 8 3/4, and add exactly 2 inches to that, and that's the length. Okay, where were we?
I don't know how to pronounce it. Big Red Channel 20. That's the dude whose family has a Daytona and a Superbird, I think.
Oh, really?
It's going to sound really stupid, but was it? And then it disappears.
Oh, okay.
Something
I'll get it for you.
Was it Turbo PT Cruiser or something?
I'll get it for you.
Building
here. See, we can do this.
Oh.
Turbo PT. She's stupid.
Okay.
Okay.
I'd almost like to see that.
Lout Burn says we use a Diplomat drive shaft. Okay, that's interesting.
If that worked, that's a good thing to know.
New York City is going to get attacked again, not patrolling either. I wouldn't be surprised. New York City was already attacked by its government.
You know what's just worth mentioning? I mean, for the drive shaft, with the car sitting on the level and no drive shaft in it, pull the yoke out an inch and then measure center to center so that you have an actual installed length you need. And not rely just on the charts. Anyway, just was thinking about that.
I did a video on measuring drive shaft length.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, early on.
Okay. Cadillac had the TH425. Well, yeah, that's the transverse. That's the same as the Tornado. Yeah, the front wheel drive caddies use that too.
Let's see. Jake Board, remember Escape from New York? Yeah, I escaped from New York.
Do you still use 6-pack rods?
If the block I happen to be working with came with them, yeah, but I don't go seeking them out.
Yeah. Well, it's just a little difference around the wrist pin area.
The whole beam is different, and you need to use the damper. So if you deal with a forged crank motor, right, on a 440, okay, you use just a regular neutral balance damper with a regular rod. If you go to the 6-pack rod, you need a balanced damper, which makes it a pain in the ass. But absolutely no benefit, really.
I didn't know Uncle Kathy could do these stealthy things like this. This is cool.
What was that?
You left the same question up for like
half
an hour, yeah.
You watch from the shadows. Bernard Allen. How are we doing so far? Good?
No, I just actually put you on because I was busy.
To watch us? Too busy to watch us?
Yeah.
I told you that John Wilburn was going to be here with us.
I know, but that's why you guys got this all under control, except you're having a hard time putting the questions up.
Okay. Wait, somebody just...
Which one?
Somebody just sent a super chat.
Okay. Do you know how to put the questions up?
Bernard Allen, thank you, sir. I was out on the slate Miata. Now an aluminum slate, that's a different story. Not really a good experience. The aluminum motor is just too finicky, too hard to find in good condition. The head gasket's a pain in the ass with that. I don't want to do it. I want to go to 170. Anyway, the aluminum was all 225. And I've got my heart and my head set on 170 for that car.
Andy Wood just posted something really interesting.
Okay.
Scroll down here. Something I've kind of been bugging him to do. He needs a new transmission for his truck.
This one?
Yeah, that one right there. So Vazar's got him talking to doing a Lenco.
A Lenco!
I can't wait for that.
Bang, bang,
I cannot wait for that. I told him that truck needed that.
Dude, if you put a Lenco in that truck, you gotta let me make a lap in that.
Yeah.
You gotta let me make a lap in that. That would be too cool.
You gotta see. I've been wanting that to happen. So
I had a Lenco in my car, but it was only a 2-speed, so I only got one lever to pull. You got bang, bang, bang. Yeah.
If having a tunnel ram F100 that gets good gas mileage and makes 600 horsepower, the new one will be 750. If that's not unique enough, we gotta have a Lenco too.
Now I gotta put a Lenco in something. I need a Lenco in my life.
So he's gonna pull the first 2 gears, and Steve in the passenger seat will pull the next 2. That's how that will work.
So can you handle these questions?
Yeah.
I see some crosstalk going on in there. Swamp Rat says that I read his post.
Yeah,
like,
I'm reading
you know,
it right
Swamp
now.
Rat, you're pretty close to getting like.
James.
That's my brother.
I know, but he's one of these like I'm this close.
You
Should
can
I?
have
Should
him
I?
on right now.
I can?
We can,
You should.
yeah.
Yeah.
You want to come on, James?
Ask him if he wants to come on. I'll send him a link.
Why don't you just call him on the fucking phone? Excuse my French. Why don't you just call him on the phone and see if he wants to come on?
When is this rematch happening with the Chargers? That's what I want to know.
Let's see the answers.
Andy says for sure. I'm assuming he means that I can make a lap in his truck.
Oh, yeah. Oh, bro, thanks, man. I appreciate that. That's
See how I
awesome.
switched on you like that?
Bang, bang, bang.
Hey, I got to ride Casper up on the trailer when we had a connected rod hanging out the side of it on the interstate.
See, I'm not big on driving stuff down the dredge unless it's unique. If it's like cool like
That
that,
is
then yeah,
unique.
then definitely. I'm all about that.
I'm giving Andy a hard time. Andy's such a good
He
fella.
says both of you.
Even if Andy didn't like cars and stuff and wasn't so completely knowledgeable, he's just a great guy. He's
He
the guy
really
you want
is.
for a neighbor or something.
Did Tony just apologize for swearing? Yes, he did. He did.
He's
I
getting domesticated.
have been made aware,
He's getting
okay?
domesticated.
I've been made aware that there are a lot of kids, younger kids, that watch these lives with their parents. And so I've been trying to be less, you know what I'm saying, right? Okay? Because I want to respect my viewers.
James says I'm not going to answer. I'm watching Shark Tank. He's busy right now.
James, if you're watching Shark Tank, tell us what the best deal of the night was. You got to report back.
Maybe.
Yes.
Can I get some questions?
Okay, but can you handle posting the questions so like
If you
people can
hand me
read
the
them?
mouse over
You
here,
want to switch? Let's switch. You can go over here. You go here.
oh, this is going to really freak somebody out that's in the bathroom. They're going to come back and like, oh no, what happened?
I like this side better.
So you just click on them, John?
Yeah, I've
Show
been watching
and
what you're doing.
hide and
Yeah,
Baby.
no problem.
give me
Give
the
me the
top.
ashtray for me.
Here.
Thank you. Thank you.
John, do you want water or anything?
I would appreciate bottle water. Thank you.
Ah,
Look at this. Look at this. So Ajax is 170 you can have, and I'll bring it to John's shop. Ajax, where are you? Tell us where you are.
He says he's going to bring it to your shop.
You tell me where you are. We might be able to work with that.
Do you happen to know what year that motor is?
Yeah, is it 67 to 69?
Well, it doesn't matter anymore because I was going to see. Here's the thing. I wanted the later one to build as another motor for the Plan Z car, and
Right.
that's why I was looking for the later one.
Right.
Because I don't want to. I want to use that same converter. I don't want to have to go get a different converter. But if it's for the Miata, then it doesn't matter because we're going to use a stock converter in it anyway. But I'm curious to know whether I have to go find a transport or if I've already got.
Ajax, let us know what the deal is on that. He says it's 67.
It's a 60. Okay,
It's a 67.
so
Just email me.
do you have the trans that came with that?
Ajax, I have your email. I'll email you. He's in Maryland. That might be workable.
I don't need it right away because I can do the mock-up with just I can do a mock-up with a 225. That's not a problem.
That's really not. That's not. This might be workable. I'll email you,
Okay.
Ajax. Okay, Dawson and Mason's at 258.
That's it. Come on, go sub to Dawson and Mason. Why wouldn't you sub to Dawson and Mason? Go do that now.
Oh, let's see here.
Are you sub to Dawson and Mason?
Not yet because I've been on here, but I'll do it when I get on.
Oh man.
I'll do that. Yeah. I'll email you, Ajax. Are you gonna come rolling down the road with that hanging out of the trunk of the C-body? That's kind of what I want to see.
The 170 is so compact. If you're used to dealing with like 225s, and then you look at a 170 because it's an inch shorter, right? And the shorter deck, and it just looks so right. You know what I mean?
Andy subscribed to him. Y'all can't.
Well, if Andy subscribes
That's
to him,
right.
and Andy's putting a Lenko in his truck.
That's right.
So if somebody who's going to buy a Lenko and put it in his truck will subscribe to Dawson and
Thank you. I
Mason.
appreciate that.
Well, Dan, you should too. Thank you. Thank you, baby.
Bruce
Oh,
W.
awesome.
Bruce W. Who just wait a minute, what am I doing there? He wants to know what a 170 weighs.
40 pounds less than a 225.
What does the slant? The slant's like what, 475?
Fully dressed.
Yeah.
Fully dressed.
Yeah.
Coastal. Thank you, sir. Love the Miata idea. It's a great blend. Thanks for the shout out the other night, Tony D. Oh,
Already subscribed to him. See.
I know you subscribe to Coastal Auto Reaction.
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
Ah, okay. You guys need to also.
Those are fun guys. They are nice guys.
Nice guys, really nice guys. Coastal Auto Reaction. If you're not subbed, go there and sub. We have so many great people that just like like the orbit, of
The YouTube car
of our
community is the
channels.
best.
You know what I mean?
It's the best.
Yeah.
They really are. It's not like the YouTube gun community where there's clicks and all this stuff. The
Right.
YouTube car community really is a lot friendlier.
That's the truth. That's true.
So why not a 440 Miata?
It doesn't. It's not a sports car then. See, I like that it's a sports car.
What would you have, a caster on the oil pan just in case? I mean,
Yeah. I don't want a hot rod. I have hot
too
rods.
heavy.
I want a sports car, and a sports car should have an inline, and it should scream at super high RPM. That's a sports car.
Y'all are dream makers. Who is y'all? Who is y'all are dream makers?
I have no idea, but A-Stock Creations thinks so. That's all that counts. Thank you, A-Stock Creations.
Chris Greenway is tired of button heads with the old man. Well, you know what? Welcome to building a car.
How old are you?
He's 21 years old, I think.
Because when we were kids, we used to just kill our parents back in the 70s. That was the thing to do.
You know what? I'll tell you what, Chris. When I bought my first car at 15, I couldn't tell my dad I bought it for 2 days. And then it took him a year to get over me buying it, and then everything was fine. So it sounds like you're in that little interim there. You'll be all right.
My parents crucified me.
You'll be all right.
Literally every minute of my life they crucified me, and that was you just got to overcome that.
But see this name right here. How would you pronounce that name right there?
Scuzzy Levitch 13.
He's a nice guy. He says that's pronounced Bob.
Bob, yeah.
How did you get Bob from that?
Yeah, no.
Bob 13.
Yeah.
He's a nice guy. Met him at Carlisle. This guy's saying a turbo 4.0 Miata. No. Oh, what's this? 318. What? Y'all need to do a 380. I would love to see that actually. If I had a Fox, I would do it.
Oh, I've seen a 340 swap Fox body, but I've never seen a 318. It's been done.
I've seen a 440 swap Fox body.
I've seen that too.
I've never seen a 318. I'd love to though. How's the Duster? It's in the backyard. I'm assuming I did.
Yeah, it's right.
I'm a bit quick today.
It's just looking good for the chickens. They walk past it all day.
They're lucky. They got good scenery.
Yeah.
How lucky are your chickens? They hang out with they got the Belvedere and the Duster back there. They get to do burnouts in the GT. They live a good life.
They do live a good life.
They don't get eaten.
They don't get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I serenade them every night. They go up on their roofs, and I go and I sing them a little song every night.
How about a 170 in the back of the Miata slam under glass? That's like a crazy hour type comment. That's the kind of comment you get after 11 p.m.
Yeah.
That's
it's my brother Ralph Solentano. That's Dr. Lube.
Here's some deep thoughts for you.
Yes.
In the entire universe, everything is either a potato or not a potato. That is correct.
Those are words to live by.
Yes.
I mean, and I'm serious. That's like,
That is true.
ponder that, okay? That's like, this is
Ooh.
deep shit, okay?
Oh yeah.
In the entire universe, everything is either a potato or not a potato. Science and philosophy mixed together.
Here's an underrated comment. If you got an extra 2,000 laying around to do that, go for it.
I might buy an electric stand of broiled
It will
chicken.
probably do a better job of that than anything else.
I want this ding dong. What's his name? Austin what?
Austin Rogers
Austin
of Paragon
Rogers?
Engines in Baxter, Tennessee.
I want this ding dong to come on this show and actually school me. I need to be schooled.
He's a young guy and he has all this wisdom.
He knows so much.
At an early age, he needs to come school.
He owns Paragon Racing Engines.
Paragon Engines in Baxter, Tennessee.
Yeah. I need him to come on here and school me. I need to be educated by this guy. His wife was on here. When was that? It was about a couple of weeks ago.
I don't know, something like that.
He sent his wife here to troll me.
We don't know if it's his wife or anyway.
Rogers.
That was the rumor. Yeah. More deep thoughts. The number of More deep thoughts. The number of people older than you will never agree. There's some truth to that. That is absolutely right. That is true. That is true.
And those people are either not a potato, or
they are. They are. But the number of older and wiser people will always decrease. That is exactly right.
It is possible for a potato to hold a very high office.
Mopar did. That was funny. She got blasted. Well, if you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. What can I say?
Austin Rogers, come on my show and school my ass, please.
Yeah, come do it. I'd love to see that. I can sell tickets to that.
I need to learn from somebody who has a motorized engine to stand.
Yeah. Okay. Got some Captain Obvious comments there on the bottom. Oh, yeah, GS. Oh, I thought that was something else. What's the best YouTube channel? Nick and Garage. What is I don't know how to read that. Nothing gets older faster than youth. Well, that's pretty profound. Dakota's asking about her.
Who's her?
Amanda. Did Amanda R come back?
Yeah.
I have not seen her. Are the chickens doing more burnouts in the shop?
How crazy is that, though? The guy sends his old lady to troll me.
Okay. Chickens doing burnouts while you're at the shop. I was seeing doing a burnout in the shop. Ooh.
I take the coil wire off of any car that I keep in the backyard that they can, you know what I mean? So, yeah, there's no chance.
You know what's funny about this question? So I pulled Bottle Rocket out of the shop today, and it's kind of like catty corner behind Plan Z. And I'm thinking, this would be a terrible time for my foot to slip off the clutch. Not sideswipe a Plan Z. Tony probably wouldn't care about that. I'd be like, I'd mark up that floor. That would be what he'd be mad about.
I'd be pissed about that.
Yeah, I can hang a rod out the block, over revving it. I can sideswipe Plan Z. But mark up that floor, I'd be done.
If you had tossed the rod, I would have bent over laughing. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I would have laughing.
Right.
Instead, you went and found every fucking puddle in the parking lot.
I didn't mean to.
I see you coming around. You drove it up the thing, right?
Yeah, right.
And I see you coming back, and you're following the trail of puddles.
I didn't try.
I had just cleaned the whole underneath of that car, you know, and I'm going to have water spots all over the rear axle and shit. It's black, you know.
Hey, wait a minute. Whoa. What is this nonsense right here?
Which nonsense?
I'm kicking them.
I love nonsense.
Dakota asks a question and gets deleted. Let me explain something. He doesn't get his comment deleted. He gets timed out.
He gets timed out.
Like,
he comes here.
Just like this. It just happened. He just got in timeout again.
There you go.
It's a necessary thing. If Dakota does not get enough timeouts, he loses regularity and sanity, and his nervous system starts having problems.
Right.
We must do this. It's an understood thing. All right. See, you guys that don't see the user side of this, let me show you something. This is what it looks like to us that you don't see. Oh, of course, it scrolls up on me. This is what it looks like. So you have Dakota, if I can get that, that's hard to do in the mirror image. Dakota was blocked for 5 minutes. Oh, it says blocked. He was timed out.
Yeah.
He was timed out. That's
He
what
gets
it
timed
shows
out.
for.
They call it, this is a different program, so
Yeah.
they call it block.
But
it's
that's
actually timed
Dakota
out.
being timed. And if you notice, Dakota's other account is called
Dakota's Timeout.
That's how much he likes it. He has built his channel around the brand. If we didn't time him out, he would be disappointed. And he's also like, what, 11, so it's his bedtime.
My brother, Swamp Rat, there are two types of people in the world, who like Neil Diamond, and two types of people in the world, those who like Neil Diamond and those who don't. Sorry, Ralph, not trying to take the glory of your potato quote away, but you live in the People's Republic of New Jersey. Do you not need a permit to like Neil Diamond? I'm pretty sure you have to file papers with the People's Republic of New Jersey to either approve or disapprove of Neil Diamond.
How much does it cost to like Neil Diamond? That's another.
In New Jersey?
Right, exactly, right.
You actually have to throw change in a bucket every.
Just to drive down the road.
Right.
And you can, in New Jersey, you literally can see one toll booth from
the next.
You literally can.
Other places you see the curvature of the earth. In New Jersey, you see the next toll booth.
Does anybody just ever just stop their car on the side of the road and walk? Because it'd be cheaper. It's got to happen there. Okay, Dawson and Mason are at 268.
Nice. Let's get them
Whoa,
to
look at
300. Come on.
Look at that.
We could do this.
This hit the nitrous button on their channel right here.
We could do this.
See, I'm a Ford guy, but love Mopars. There is truth to this. We were talking about this a couple days ago. That there's a lot of Ford people who convert to Mopar, but rarely the other way around.
You'll never find a Mopar guy go to Ford, but you'll always find Ford guys go to Mopar.
Yeah.
Mostly it's because of the heat treat of the bolts. We were talking about that. We were talking about the different things that really irk us about different makes and stuff like that. So for me, it's two things, right? It's the springs they mount on top of the upper control arms,
Absolutely hate
which
that.
destroy the engine bays.
It's the worst.
You can never get in there.
It's a horrible idea. Horrible idea.
But most importantly, it's the heat treat that they put on their bolts. And we're talking about classic era cars, like the 50s, 60s, 70s. They use the ultimate high quality material, right? I mean, you can't beat it, all right? But they heat treated it is to the point that it's fucking brittle. So if you let's just say you build 2 or 3 Chevys or Fords or Chevys or Mopars in a row, okay? So you do a Ford motor, you do a Chevy motor, you do a Chrysler motor, you do a Pontiac motor, and then you do a Ford motor, you break every fucking bolt that you put a wrench on.
They gall up. See this? I went from Chevy to Mopar. Okay, you know why that is? This bump stick guy, he's a real technical guy. And if you like engineering, that's exactly why he likes Mopar. That I guarantee it. Thank you for posting the link, Fubar. Another thing too, speaking of hardware, Chevy, I don't know what Chevy made their hardware out of in the 80s. I think it was like recycled tree bark, because that's what it turns into over time. That stuff just rusts and just gets disgusting. What do you think about a TBI to carb conversion? Yes, all day. All day. Yeah.
Yeah. That Chrysler TBI deal was terrible.
Junk on a stick.
Yeah. It was like Chrysler had hit 2 real sour notes back to back. The lean burn and then the TBI.
No, we're not kidding. We're not kidding. ProWorks motorized engine stands.
Yeah, what's the guy's name?
They cost more than all of the A-bodies I have combined, and it's an engine stand with a switch. And there's a video, and they have a video of 2 guys pretending like they can't flip an engine, a short block, over on the stand. You know what? I'm not kidding. Let me show you something. You talk about funny. So today, and I gotta show them pictures. I'll show them these pictures right on my phone. Let me show you this. So Breon, the bouncer here. Remember,
that's my lawyer.
Remember Breon, right?
Breon is half my legal team.
Do you see his shirt there? I'm gonna zoom in on that. Breon's a big guy. So Breon has this pattern on his shirt. You know how he got that? He got that pattern from picking up this block by himself by the mains and setting it on the trailer to move it.
Yeah, if you look at the pattern on his shirt, it matches
that exactly. So a motorized engine stand, he just picks it up and moves it.
My lawyer is a motorized engine stand.
Let's see here. This guy converted no, wait a minute. Wow, okay. He converted, see, this software jumps. A guy converted his TBI. So I'm kind of missing that now. Anyway. Plan Z, what about a Jeep 4.0? They're good engines. I haven't had a lot of luck with them. I replaced a 4.0 in a Cherokee last year. It was miserable R&I. Miserable. We Ford guys know to replace all of it. Yeah, of course you do. You know what the best hardware is? Believe it or not, it's Hyundai.
Yeah, we were talking about that too. Hyundai.
Yeah.
I don't have a car in Hyundais, but when they first started them,
yeah, in the 80s, they're fantastic.
Yeah, they brought it to another level.
I have an 89 Hyundai Excel. It's the first engine I ever built. I was telling Tony, and I'll actually admit that. I built it in the 90s. It's the first engine I ever built that still runs. But all of the hardware on that, you can go out and put a wrench on it. No matter how rusty everything around it is, it just comes free. So it's all CAD plated. It's nice. That's not a small thing when you build cars, how nice the hardware is.
The thing, but like I said, you do like a 60s Ford, right? Or early 70s Ford. You better have your torque wrench handy. You know?
Yeah.
Like,
Anna sees everything.
Right. Chrysler's, the only time I ever break out a torque wrench, honestly, is when I do rod-ups. The rods and mains, I break out the torque wrench. Everything else, I just like feel, right? Because I know the feel.
Exactly.
Don't try that with a Ford.
No.
Don't try that with a Ford.
Mike Evan, anti-potato.
You're against potato, man? You're down on potatoes?
He's risking it.
Don't ever, you don't want to say anti-potato things in public.
No,
honestly.
No, you could get canceled.
You're in a lot of trouble for that.
You could get canceled.
Yeah, seriously.
Your university could revoke your degree.
You love potatoes, okay? You love potatoes. If a potato enters the room, you stand, okay? You know what I'm saying?
What's the best Ford motor? A Chevy 350? I wouldn't say that.
Best Ford motor, as far as I'm concerned, is the Windsor. I know Cleveland, I know.
Oh, that is the truth. We got those out with a 4.5 foot long extension, a tower. That was the worst. Oh,
what was that now? Biggest issue with some of the
yes.
4.0s and Jeep trucks is it's too damn retarded. E12 bolts on top of the bell housing. I know the ones you're talking about.
we were so close to taking a hole saw and going right through the firewall.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
That's the kind of jobs that make you want to not work as a mechanic, right there. That's what reminds me why I don't do that for a living, right there. And then we go from the worst to the best. If I would do a 351 Cleveland, that's the one Ford motor I want to build before I die. Is a 351 Cleveland. Yeah,
see, I like the little Windsors. I like the 289s and the 302s. I never had any experience with a 260, yeah. but 302s, yeah. No, I just love them. I love them. They're great little motors.
Dawson and Mason show. I see you on here. How many subs do you have? Let us know.
It's the countdown to 300 for the Dawson and Mason show.
Oh, now we got the Irish commenting. Don't be hating on potatoes. Yes, indeed. See?
I love potatoes.
Yep.
I listen. I follow any order a potato gives me.
They're at 268. So.
Oh, come on, guys. 32 subs. We need 32 of you. There's 357 of you on there right now. 32 of you. Please go over there and sub to Dawson and Mason.
Yep. So here's a post of Uncle Jim. That's not my Uncle Jim, but my Uncle Jim was on this channel a couple of times, actually. He's on my channel, but he was at a video we made for UTG. He might be on UTG somewhere. Hemi all the way, if you say so. Hemi Stan would agree.
I had my fill of Hemis.
We must not upset the potato gods. It's just
haggis.
Ooh.
I think the potato reference has gone over a few people's heads, but that's okay.
Yeah. Haggis for, you know what? I never thought I would ever see that comment on a live stream, so kudos to you.
This is our live stream. This is different than everybody else's.
Yes, it is.
You'll get haggis on here.
This is great. This is great.
Wait till Squigil pops up.
I wouldn't change a thing. This is fantastic.
We do. We have the best live we have.
Richard Bricker, $9.99.
Thank you, sir.
Replaced mostly 2-inch Super 10 muffler. Ooh, okay. Thoughts on that?
Replaced single, mostly 2-inch exhaust with mini leaks, with a 2.5-inch single exhaust and a Super 10 muffler. I don't know what the Super 10 muffler is, but that doesn't matter. Now the engine is shaking slightly and idling higher, running diesel and after shut-off. I don't understand why that would be. I mean, you've clearly got a vacuum leak.
That sounds like.
You know, did you accidentally knock off a critical vacuum line? You know,
I see that a lot where somebody will knock a plug wire or vacuum line off while they're working.
Yes.
And then they'll think it's what they did when it was unrelated.
Who doesn't? I've done that.
Yeah, we've all done that. Well, you did that on the Charger, wasn't it? On the 71 Charger?
Yeah.
I mean, it happens all the time.
But your issue is probably not related to the actual exhaust system. Look elsewhere.
The only thing about 302s I didn't like, there's a lot of things about 302s I don't like. There's things I do like about them, but there's a lot of things I don't. Any more deep thoughts? This guy, okay, Ryan is full of it tonight.
Just all potatoes or mashed potatoes.
Oh,
that's amazing.
Let's stop at the stomach. We don't need to go any farther. Oh, Bullnose, he's got a video of my 318 350 killer. Well, we'll check that out. Bullnose, he has Ford stuff.
What's our current count on the Mason?
Dawson Mason?
Dawson Mason.
All right, guys. Post an update. Would y'all rather have Chevy or Dodge? Well, you're asking the audience.
Don't worry about that. Worry about getting your subs. Who cares what's Chevy or Dodge? Get your subs.
Post a video about the subs you got tonight. Do that. Ask that question in a video.
354 people online right now.
Yeah.
You should rocket past 300. I say we go on strike until they get their 300. I think we just stand here and stare down the audience.
Go in there and check for Tang or something, you know?
Oh, seriously, go there. Really, go sub to these guys. They're trying. They're trying hard. Anybody who tries deserves that number. You don't actually have to watch the videos. Just sub to it.
What is this question? Some crosstalk. No, wait a minute. It jumped on me again. What's this crosstalk? Do you know the reason why the float could cause the car to stall when braking?
Sure. The level is too high.
Yeah.
If the float level is too high on the carburetor, when you brake, that fuel will slosh over and end up going down the boosters.
My 70 did that all the time.
Yeah, very important to have the float level set correctly.
Yeah.
It's there for a reason.
Sub what channel? Dawson and Mason.
Dawson and Mason. They have to have 300 subs before the end of this
These
night.
guys, that's the channel. Fubar put up a link.
The women will leave them if they don't have 300 subs.
They're at 279. They've made some progress.
Okay. Just saying though. The women will leave them.
Here's a ubiquitous 428 question.
428 would be better if the oil passage would be better placed. You FE motors, please don't get me started on the oil systems on FE motors. Listen, FEs have good heads. Okay, they have good heads. The blocks aren't bad, right? The cranks are really nice. The oiling system should say Tonka on it. It's an embarrassment to American engineering, all right? The oiling, so listen to me, right? Ford guys, right? Listen to me, right? The oiling system on an FE is shit. It's shit. And there's no way around it being shit. Deal with that. Own it. You know what I'm saying? Own that problem, okay? And then we're okay. Then everything's even.
I clicked it just for the rant. You guys are welcome.
Oh man, I'm just so the FE guys are like they refuse to acknowledge the absurdity of the oiling system on a freaking FE.
You know what? The third gen Hemi lifter problem is the new version of the FE oiling problem. The denial stuff.
Yeah,
it's the same thing. All right. Yeah, Mopar Den. Please, Fubar, or if you can, put up a link to Mopar Den's channel. He's posted some good content. He's got some neat stuff, actually.
Whose shirt are you wearing? You wearing his shirt?
I'm wearing just Mopar Joe's shirt.
Oh, just Mopar Joe.
You go to my channel, there's a link below the last video I did to just Mopar Joe. He's usually on here. You might pop in later. Dawson and Mason are at 292. Wow,
Nice.
I'm gonna get the
8 more. Come on, guys. 8 more subs, and their wives will stay. The women will stay.
Here we go. There you go.
FE might be the worst engine ever. No, I'm not going to say that.
They're neat engines, but they have a bad oil.
Yeah, I'm not going to say that. FE's made good power. The cylinder heads, right? I mean, some of them, like the tunnel ports and stuff, like, wow. Okay? You know, I can even overlook the weirdness of the intake manifold mounting. I can overlook that, pretend it's not even there. But the oiling system is junk.
Who asks that?
How do you keep rats out of the engine compartment?
If you have a Chevy and you want a rat in your engine compartment, that could be it.
I generally summon a demon and have them lurk, you know, around the perimeter of, you know, and yeah.
Yeah. It's one of the worst questions asked on here. Here we go. That's a good one. Tony and John tricks for installing a 2-piece rear main seal without leaking.
Oh God, you're wanting me to say, put it in
an angle,
and you know, yeah, no, that's bullshit. Okay, I've never in my life installed a 2-piece rear main seal on any type of angle or used any type of sealer or anything like that, and I have yet to have one leak. So, yeah, that's the thing, right? Somebody will just like dream up a trick. You know what I mean? And it's like that's their claim to fame. I dreamed up this trick. And now I'm going to spread it everywhere.
And then they have to own it. They can never go back.
You can never go back.
That's own it
and the trick gets passed from generation to generation. Hey, let me show you how to do this, right? Only I know this, right? Yeah, no, just put it in normal. Just put it in normal. Don't worry about it.
They're 301.
301, Mason. Rosa Mason. Congratulations, guys.
Talk about this thing. So this happens in all the world, not just in cars.
Yes.
There was a guy, I can't think of his name, was Vite. He came out with a shooting system for a pistol where you had a shelf that you glued on your pistol to rest your index finger on and pull the trigger with your middle finger. And he claimed that this made you 19% accurate. And because cops were 17% accurate, that this improved things. It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. But that guy, because it was the thing he invented and put his name on, he had to own it forever. And it was a horrible idea. It was garbage. And guys do that with cars all the time.
I see stuff like that constantly.
Yeah,
constantly.
Yep.
I can't think of anything off the top of my head right now, but I see that constantly. This little bizarre trick that people will come up with.
The stuff on the air filter, the tornadoes on the air filter.
Oh, please,
that kind of stuff. There's lots of it. If that tornado on the air filter worked, Pro Stock would have it. I've never seen one on a serious car in my life. Never once. What are we doing here? Speaking of gaskets, I like 1-piece oil pan gaskets for the small block. Okay.
Yeah, I like those too.
I like to dolly the pan rail out. That's important to keep them working.
Yeah.
If you got a bend in the pan rail. Seriously, that's like the biggest cause. Take a straight edge and just stick on your pan rails. Do it on transmissions, rubber pans, valve, all of that.
Velcro's a little harder to dolly, but yeah, always check that.
Mm-hmm. I have a hammer just for doing that because it's like the right shape and size. Here's a good one. Yeah, the whistle tip tailpipe. Yeah, that kind of stuff. There was a lot of those gimmicky nonsense things. J.C. Whitney catalog had about every one of them.
Yeah.
If you find a J.C. Whitney catalog from about 40 years ago.
Oh, how about the spark plugs? We're only all over ground straps.
Yeah. Well, electricity can only
16 ground straps all over my spark plug.
That was designed. I don't know if the guy who came out with that didn't understand electricity or if he thought that the consumers wouldn't, but electricity can only jump to the path of least resistance, period.
But they've been doing this literally like since the Model T. If you find like a 1940s like issue of like, you know, Popular Mechanics or something like that, or 1930s, you'll find ads for spark plugs that have all of these ground straps all over the place, right? And now it's like, what is the E3 spark plugs? It's got like 3 ground straps. It's the biggest promotion now.
It's the same crap in a different wrapper. Later, it's the same thing. If you go in the pits, go like to a Pro Mod pit and you see plugs out, regular side gap spark plugs. That's it. That's all they are. Clear distributor kit. Yeah, now we're seeing these guys are bringing them out.
Oh, I like the clear distributor.
But they're neat to watch. I don't like them, but they are neat.
They never made them for Mopars. Otherwise, I would have one for sure.
I've never seen one for Mopar. They're kind of fun to watch. You're giving. The deer whistles. Yeah, they're bringing all the stuff out now.
But I think the deer whistles actually work, don't
I
they?
don't know if no. I've seen cars in junkyards. The whole frame.
The deer whistles.
whistles.
The only thing undamaged is the deer whistle.
I don't know if they work or not. But carpet molds for everything. J.C. Whitney sold carpet molds. Well, maybe. I kind of miss those catalogs. They're kind of funny. They were neat. I was cleaning out my garage and found one. But it was one of the later ones. I wanted one of the old ones when they still had all the really weird stuff in there. MSD made clear caps for Honda. Well, yeah, because everything weird is out there for a Honda.
Yeah, actually, I like that. I would definitely put a clear cap on.
They look like fireflies going down on a flush toilet or something.
It's just cool.
It's okay, yeah. It's what floats your boat.
They made clear valve covers of small block Chevys for a while.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
I remember watching The Wide World of Sports. It had to be like 1969.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was 1969. I remember watching The Wide World of Sports, and they were doing the NHRA Nationals, and they were showing Top Gas, which they never show Top Gas, right? And it was all twin engine cars. And one of them, oh God, that was so beautiful. Those twin engine slingshots were just so fucking beautiful. And there was one of them that had a pair of small block Chevys with clear valve covers. And it was the first time I had seen that. I guess I was like 7 years old, right? And I was like, God, I love that.
Okay. Daytona guy. See, when I see that, I think Daytona guy because his family has a Daytona. He thinks I'm funny. Okay.
No, it wasn't the freight train. It wasn't the freight train. I don't remember what car it was. The freight train never had clear valve covers.
I love this. These guys are remembering all of them now. The side mirror with the compass. That's got
Yeah.
What do you do with that?
Well, the compass that got mounted on the dashboard.
I'm trying to get over in traffic. Oh, I'm not headed north. Turn. Turn. Hurry.
I don't need a map. I got a compass.
Do you have like one of those things that measures the stars too, like on the dash? a sextant that you have mounted on the dash.
You can play Galileo as you're driving down here.
Right.
Screw it up. I navigate by the stars.
This field will take us northeast. Oh yeah, see now he's talking about it. That's a cool car. His 65-year-old mom's Daytona with a 4-speed.
Nice.
More power to
Oh, Dawson and Mason got that 302.
They did. They got 301 a while back. Compass is an early GPS. Yeah, for people that can do something with it. Let me tell you something. This comment right here. Compass is an early GPS. You show me how that compass works going through Greensboro on 221 where there's about a dozen turnoffs in 5 miles and 6 lanes. Forget that. I have no sense of direction at all.
The compass was like replaced by science.
Cursive was replaced by the ballpoint pen, but people still don't believe that. Opinion of the 84 to 93 Daytona. One thing jumps around a lot. Opinion of the Daytona, yeah. Yeah,
they were cool. I had a couple of them back when they were around.
Okay.
I had one. I had I guess it was like a 92, 91, 90, 91. And it was, this thing was fast. I mean, this car was like legit fast. It was a 3.0, you know, the V6, the Mitsubishi V6 that they put in all the minivans and stuff. It was a 3.0 with a 5-speed and like no other options on this car. And this thing was bad. I mean, it was, you know, for what it was, right? You know, like, obviously it's not going to rotate the earth. But it really, it reminded me of like a good running early 70s 340 car. That's like about the same like feel that this thing had.
Cursive can stay gone, absolutely. This is true. The cow, you know, using cow farts to power cars. Yeah, you absolutely can. You find a way to collect it, and we'll jet accordingly.
Yeah.
What is this? Is he talking about the 200?
Oh, there's another.
Yeah,
yeah,
but that's the guy that had the was it the liquefied? What was his angle?
You know, there's a guy that runs it on water. And he shows how he converts it to hydrogen and runs his lawnmower and his weed whacker off it, whatever the fuck he does. And then there's always the myth of the guy with the 200 mile per gallon carburetor.
It doesn't exist.
Right, that the oil companies bought it up and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, that's bullshit.
No, none of that's true.
Yeah, none of that's true.
Okay, so here's a question we had by request here by another commenter. Okay, I gotta find, okay, Harry, you gotta ask the first of it or I can't do anything with it.
Man, you're really good at that. I suck at doing what you're doing. You're good at that.
Yeah. So
that's why you're Super Mod.
Let us know. Yeah, Harry, repost the question in the beginning. I'll be looking for it. No, Danny Boyd, we don't. It's just you. More deer whistle. An anaerobic digester. Yeah. You know what? You guys collect it and get it in the bottle. We'll figure out how to jet the carb for it.
You would be better off melting down the cow and running it in a diesel.
Here we go. Okay, the physics teacher in high school did the math to debunk the 100 mile per gallon carb stuff. Okay.
Well, you could either use physics and math or common sense.
Yeah.
Because if you have any experience with carburetors, you know there's only so much you can do with this thing.
We were talking today, you have to have both the academic and the experience.
Right.
The academic is the why, the experience is the how. And you have to have both so that you can both innovate and get practical stuff done.
Yeah. I mean, I'm doing hands-on carburetor stuff for 40-something years, like 45 years, okay?
Yep.
And I can tell you or anybody point blank without pause or hesitation or doubt that it's literally improbable, not impossible, it's improbable that you could ever get that kind of gas mileage specifically out of a carburetor. It ain't gonna happen, it just can't happen. You know, the engine requires a certain amount of liquid to pass through this system to actually function. It doesn't matter what you do to the carburetor.
Yeah, downhill 100 mile per gallon. Yeah, exactly. Heather Jennifer is exactly, we need more cowbell. Why do you have a cowbell in here?
I don't have a cowbell.
I know, seriously.
I have a chunk of broken piston.
You need a cowbell.
I have some walkie-talkies over there.
How did that oversight happen? Will a motorcycle get 100? I don't know.
Scooters will.
I have no idea.
Scooters will get 100. Mopeds will get 100.
71/6 with a Holly
1920 carburetor.
Hey Ajax, by the way, if I forget to email you, email me. You've got my email, I know you do. 71/6 with a 1920 Holly.
Yes, motor rebuilt in board 30. All right, carb has a 55 thousandths jet. Should I go a little bigger to a performance? Yes.
Hey, just Mopar Joe in the house, dude.
Yo, he's wearing your shirt, man. He's smiling in your threads, bro. So back to who's that last question there?
Right here.
Well, how'd you do that?
Because I saw it.
Okay. Yeah, that 55 was lean to begin with. And if you're running it on ethanol or on 10% pump gas, right? Absolutely. Go to 60, 62. Like that, your night and day difference in the drivability of that car.
Don and Wendy English, you're probably right. We'll ring that bell till we knock the side out of it. Especially if you get on here with Austin Rogers and Paragon engines in Baxter, Tennessee.
I need Austin Rogers.
You need the cowbell.
Right. From what's the name of the place?
Paragon engines in Baxter, Tennessee.
I need Austin Rogers. If you're listening to me, if you know this guy, get a hold of him. Austin Rogers of Paragon Racing Engines in Baxter, Tennessee. Yep. I need him to come on here live anytime and school me. I need to be schooled.
Amanda, if you're trolling tonight, let Austin know that he has an open invitation to come school. And instead of talking about the invitation on another channel, come on this one.
Yes, anybody actually. I'm open to anybody who thinks that they can school me on something. Please come on here and teach me. Put me in my place, guys.
Check this out. I'm going to time out Dakota's timeout account. What are you going to do now?
Ooh.
Oh, hey, like that. That's like a bank shot for Duke to do that, right?
See, I have the technology now that I could have two people on here, but I couldn't do that before.
Joe's asking where I do not know. What size fuel cells in Plan Z?
It's a 5 gallon.
5 gallon?
No, did I say 5? I'm sorry, it's an 8. Yeah, and I should put a smaller one in.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
I just don't have a smaller one at the moment. But honestly, I need as much weight back there as I can get.
Yeah. Yeah, Harry, I see that. Sorry about that, because if you're reposting, I did not catch it. Hang on a minute. Oh, there we go. Yeah, here we go. Here's your question. 68318 Kudo electronic ignition. He replaced the alternator and voltage regulator, and it was charging fine. 2 days ago, he took it out. The ammeter spiked, and now it won't charge.
Yeah, I've seen that happen. It's probably the voltage regulator.
I was going to say, did you use a parts store voltage regulator?
Well, no, wait. You convert it to electronic ignition on it.
Oh, there's a lot of things going on here at once.
Yeah. All right. If you converted that car to electronic ignition and you're still using a points regulator,
Oh yeah.
The control, the ECU is not going to be happy with that.
No.
So the first thing you need to have done when you've converted that car to electronic ignition is convert it to a dual field electronic 1970 and up charging system. But that spike is, I've seen it happen a bunch of times. It's just a voltage regulator going, and then it could be brand new, it doesn't matter, they go bad right out of the box, but that's probably what happened there. Make sure it's grounded good. Make sure it's grounded good. If you have an intermittent ground on the, see, that's probably what happened. If you have an intermittent ground on the voltage regulator, on an electronic voltage regulator on a Chrysler, it'll read the intermittent ground as part of the charging cycle, right? And it'll pin, you know what I mean? It'll max things out.
Probably 5 pounds more. Oh, at least. Probably more like 10. That battery, you stuck the battery from GT.
Yeah, I put a big battery in there. Yeah, the car legitimately would have been under 2,100 pounds. But with a smaller, I like the battery I have in Bottle Rocket. It's a Honda battery, and the battery only weighs about, I think I weighed it was like 21 pounds. So yeah, and the one that I put in there is probably closer to 30 pounds. So just the difference in battery weight would have put it under the thing. I was just surprised. I thought it was going to be way under.
But it's a real world number.
It is a real world number.
We know that when you convert from a manual to an automatic in one of those cars, you're looking at about a 40, 50 pound weight gain.
Yeah.
So we found that out.
Which is, what all it did was balance out what I took off the motor. Because originally we weighed the car with the old motor and the 3-speed manual that was in there, with the aluminum bell housing and all, and it was 2,117 pounds. So then we switched over to the automatic, which adds about 40 pounds. But I took about 40 pounds off the block, so that off the motor as a whole, and so it balanced itself out.
Kickendale's saying start with a lawnmower battery. You know what you might be able to start with would be a Honda battery.
Well, I've got a Honda battery in Bottle Rocket. I just didn't feel like swapping them back and forth. I just wanted to get a weight.
Those are tiny batteries. They're terrible, but they might work to get the weight down.
Lawnmower battery isn't going to have the cranking image. I don't have a charging system on that car.
A Honda Civic battery.
What are you saying? But
yeah, he did, but I'm thinking realistically, a Honda Civic battery would be perfect.
Yeah, that's probably what I'll end up putting in there. But the lawnmower battery, I don't have a charging system on that car, and the lawnmower battery is not going to have the suds to start it a couple of times in a row.
Uncle Kathy's already been in the trunk where the battery. Yes, she has.
Yes, in the charger.
What would you like to do for Chrysler to more fully develop the polyhead?
Everything that they did to the later LA motors. You know, an actual performance exhaust, because you know the polys all had like log manifolds. They were treated as non-performance engines. I would have loved to have seen them recast the head with a slightly bigger exhaust port, bigger ports in general. If they had developed that engine, if they had developed the poly head and brought it to that, let's say, 360 to 400 cubic inch size or thereabouts, it would have buried everything else. It would have been the engine. It would have been the only engine we talk about today, but they didn't.
This is a great idea. Can you imagine how dangerous that would be?
Bank of capacity.
I'd kill myself.
You guys overthink stuff. It's not that important. You know what I'm saying? It's not that important. It's important, but not that important. You know, to go dedicate your life to rating capacitors and shit like that. It's just plain sex. It's a weed whacker in a car that's got a bunch of holes drilled in it. Is what it is.
Hey Dakota, the answer is yes. And the answer is also timeout.
How am I still getting? Dawson and Mesa still getting subs. What are you up to now?
Need 100 subscribers to live? No, you don't.
You want to live stream? Yeah, you need actually you need 1,000 subs.
I was gonna say 1,000, but they have 300. So they said 100.
No, as far as I know, you have to have to live stream. You need 1,000, and you get a community channel, a community page.
Community
also
tab, you need 1,000.
We'll get you to 1,000. Come back again next week.
You're 303. So
yeah,
you're getting there.
We'll get you there. You know why? Because we have the best audience on YouTube.
Really?
We really do.
I'm a moderator for another big channel, and this community is fantastic.
Which channel is that?
James Yeager, Tactical Response Channel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've cultivated a really good, not that we did it, it's just it cultivated, you know what I mean? It evolved.
Oh, look at this. So Ryan here, who has a Barracuda, he has 354, and they're going to catch up. Well, Ryan, put more content up and, pull ahead of them already.
Sub Wars.
Oh, here we go. This is same guy. He's got an 89 D100 he revived for 18 years. Okay. 318 with TBI. Mm-hmm. Your experience with these pre-Magnum engines. That was like the transitional step between the carbureted and the Magnum.
Yeah. Well, you got really good heads on it. At first, it should be a roller. 89 should be a roller. Yep. So, you're miles ahead of an earlier, but you got the 302 heads on that. And those heads are, it's a fast burn.
Yeah.
Enclosed chamber head.
Close, yeah.
It needs to be ported. They need to be ported, right? To really, take advantage of that head. But
as I'll say, that's the head we're doing on the 318. Just Mopar Joe is doing a set of those for the 318. I'm building the bottom end. He's doing a set of those 302 closed chamber heads.
Now, I personally prefer the 273 head, the 67 through 69, 273, 318 head, which is also closed chamber.
Yeah.
And it has a slightly straighter exhaust port, right? Mm-hmm. But that's my personal preference.
Those are also not easy to find.
They're not as easy to find as the 302.
This 302s grow on trees.
Yeah, they're good heads, but you really have to port it. Trust me on this. You'll unlock gobs of horsepower porting those heads.
Joe has a good question here. Should I upsize the valve size? I'm assuming you're talking about going from like a 178 to a 188 valve.
I don't think it's necessary, and especially if you got an automatic.
How do the seats look? That might be a guiding question.
The seats are going to be perfect. There's no such thing as a bad seat on those heads.
Yeah.
I wouldn't personally. I wouldn't bother upsizing the valves.
Ajax is asking how the Dart Sport's coming great. It's been winter time, and now that winter is broken, as soon as the 318 is done, I'm going to get the front end back in the Dart Sport, and you guys will see it departure here. Here's a weird question by Ajax.
Why do some points cars have two condensers in one distributor and one off the coil? Oh, the one that's on the coil isn't really it's a condenser, right? But it's for radio interference. They put that there because in the old days when you had AM radio, the ignition, the pulses, the electronic pulse, the electronic pulses from the ignition system would mess with the radio signal. So they put that condenser on the coil for that.
Rude Mopar dude. That's so funny his channel's named that. He's the nicest guy. And he said his son turned 16. I'll let him run his first few beats with the welder. That's great. That's one of the best things you can do. Have a 16-year-old learning to weld. That's fantastic. Nice. Chris Greenway. Yes, I do.
But why do you have to wait until he was 16 to let him do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's,
better late than never, right?
That's true. If you got kids that are hanging around the garage, you know what I mean? I don't care if they're 7, okay? They're hanging around the garage. Start giving them things to do. You know what I mean? Start giving them things to do.
They can learn one new tidbit every time they're out there and never run out of new things.
Yep.
This is how you chase threads. This is how you weld something.
That's how you get your kids to stick around the garage. Keep giving them little tasks that are just beyond their capability. And once they master that task, it becomes addictive, and they just want to be more and more and more and more and more.
Here's a good one for you. 302 heads. Oh yeah, this Yeah, I mean they raise compression a little bit on that.
Well, that's the big thing. You know, if nothing else, you're bringing your compression up into like the 9-to-1 range on an earlier motor by bolting those closed chamber heads on.
Yeah.
What I don't like about them, yeah, right, is that peak that they put in the quench pad between the valves.
I don't like that. It's a hot spot.
It's a hot spot.
I don't like that at all.
Right.
I was looking at that on these. I have yeah. That's got to go.
Yeah, but that's to promote the fast burn deal, right?
I don't like that at all.
Yeah, I don't like that at all.
That thing can go. So I bring this up. Brad, he's a neat guy in the comments. He's a professional
Started
welder.
rolling a 13.
He's a professional welder. So this just in general, yeah, pass these skills down. We cannot die with this knowledge and have it do any good. If you know stuff,
you can't take it with you. You know, you can't take it with you. Pass it on.
Joe's like, gone. It's gone.
Wait, he'll just cut what?
Yeah, he's gonna cut that little peak.
Yeah, don't take too much because you know you increase the volume of combustion chamber.
No, smooth it out.
Smooth it out. Just smooth it out. Make sure there's no sharp edge on that. Just round it. You know. Actually, you should do that to the whole combustion chamber. Go around the whole combustion chamber, the machine surface, and just break the edge of right. Anytime, not just that head. Anytime you're doing a cylinder head, right? Dress out all of the sharp edges in the combustion chambers because those can become hot spots.
That head's the worst for having those.
Yeah.
What cam of heads do you have in Bottle Rocket?
They're the 273 heads that are like ported, right? And it's a comp roller.
Runs good.
You drove it today.
It runs good.
Yeah. It would be a little sharper with a tighter LSA, but it's spectrum nitrous.
Yeah. This is funny. My friends taught me how to weld with a stick welder over the phone. So what are Dawson and Mason asking? Get my channel where I can go live. Well, I'll tell you what, you keep working on your content, you'll get there.
Yeah, that's.
I started my channel in 2006.
Yep.
And eventually got to 60 subs, and then to 100, and then to 300, and then to 600, and that's just how it works.
Dawson, is this Dawson or Mason?
Dawson and Mason show.
All right. Can I give you a bit of constructive criticism for your future, for your growth? Okay. What you just said here, right? Because I want to talk to my fans. Okay. Right. That is the shortcut to like not going anywhere. Right. Don't think of them as fans. They're not your fans. They're your viewers. They're friends that you haven't met yet. They're not fans. If you think of them as fans, you're going to create yourself. You're going to create an elitist ideology in your head, and you will never connect with them. They're not fans. They're viewers. They're your friends. They're just friends you haven't actually physically met yet.
Yeah, look at the attitudes of the successful people in the comments here. The Andy Woods, the Just Mopar Joes, UTG. That shows you why they're popular. I'm
telling you right now, as soon as I hear anybody on any of these channels refer to their viewers as fans, I lose respect for them, and I just, okay, I'm done.
YouTube has that in suggestion. On the community post, it says, "Do this for your fans." I hate great student reading that. Yeah, here we go. This is good advice from a guy with a thriving channel.
I've learned more from my viewers than I ever could have thought. Me too. I pick up stuff all the time from you guys.
Like with everything, there's a lot of junk that goes through the comments, but there are some really smart people with a lot of really great ideas out there. It's out there if you're watching and reading. What is this? 400 and a 340 block?
We missed a super chat.
Oh, we missed a super
chat.
Uncle Kathy watching from the shadows.
What? I saw remote part.
Oh,
Blake. There you go.
Oh, thank you, Blake. Thanks, illustrations.
Oh, I better not do that again.
I6.
I got in trouble.
Oh, 16. Oh, runs a little mechanic business. Have rebuilt multiple engines. My first was a small block Chevy at 12. Restoration of it's coming soon. So Blake, you're 16.
That's awesome. That's great.
Blake, that is awesome. Do you have a channel? Oh, of course you do. Blake's Restoration.
Yes. I want to see that.
Well, go ahead. Go
That's
see
fantastic.
it. You got your phone right there. Blake, that is absolutely awesome. Nothing makes me feel better. I don't think any of us old timers, nothing makes us feel better than to see, somebody of your age diving in there and getting to it. It means the culture is going to live on. So who we got? We got 329 people on here now.
I'm trying to see how many.
Go over there and give Blake a sub.
He has 283 subscribers.
Go over there and give Blake a sub. There's the next generation, right?
Wouldn't it be fantastic if 2 channels got to their 300th subscriber tonight? He's at 283.
Yeah.
Report back, Blake.
And I got to send him this he has a super chat. I was going to just send him the $5 back. But thank you, Blake.
All right, where are we? Now I'm going to skip by all these guys. Like, no, I posted that while you were talking. Too bad. All right. Heather Jennifer, yes. More cowbell. I agree. Michael Phillip, he said he's your biggest fan. Okay, so this one, even though it might be who knows what the intent of that question was, the reason I like it is because I think of the 400 as a giant 340.
But wait a minute. How about maybe he was talking about putting a 4-inch crank in it?
Probably. That's probably what he means.
Yeah. He might have just not put the,
That comes to
the 4-inch, that's a 416. 414, it's 414. Standard block.
Yeah, still in the math, that's right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably what he was talking about, a 4-inch crank. I don't think he was trolling.
No, that's right. Yeah, I think you're right. But the 400 is a 340. I think of the 400 as a giant 340 because it has the big bore and the short. It has almost the same stroke.
Yeah. I
mean, it really is in a lot of ways. Kickendale wants my email, john@chpclass.com. It's been on here a bunch. Where are we here? Greenway wants to know how you feel about the 70 to 72 Monte Carlo.
Oh, I love them.
Those are the big ones. Those are the giant ones. Who's that guy is it Doc who races one on the street outlaws? That
he crashed that thing. He wadded that up. Well, there's nothing left of it.
The good news was there was no Monte Carlo there anyway. I mean,
well, it started out as Monte
right.
Carlo. Yeah, I felt bad. He's a really hard racer. He gets a little like maybe a little like over the top emotional kind of. You know what I mean? Like he's too wrapped up in it. But that's besides the point. That's just his personality. But he's a really hard racer. So
Blake wants to know if there's any advice, the best way to get a hold of you. I would say on here, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, Blake. Well, you know what? Here's the thing: we get so many emails every day. Uncle Kathy is like overwhelmed. But Blake, I do want to help you out, and I do want to be able to contact you, or want you to be able to contact me. So I'm trying to think about how we do this.
Send me an email.
Okay, Blake, send John.
Here, let's do this. Okay. I almost did that. Okay.
So
that should post.
Send John an email at that address, and he'll shoot you my cell number. Just text me. That's only for Blake here, because Blake is a kid trying to get who's cutting his teeth. So don't take that as an open invitation, because I can't handle all these. I can't tell you how many messages I get every day. But Blake, I'll send him an email, and he'll shoot you my cell number.
Now, also in here, if I can find it, Dawson and Mason are asking a good question. Should I post a video about racing a 212cc go-kart and a 196?
Well, yeah, you should.
Why? Yeah, exactly. You just had several people subscribe that are interested in your stuff. Put stuff up as it. All right.
If you're interested in it, you just put it up there, and people will find you.
My 76 Cutlass has about a 7-foot hood.
Yeah. Well, you see, I asked about the 70 or 72 Montes, and I was going to say I prefer the 73 to the 78, 77, 73 to 77. I think those are just beautiful cars. They like I mean, not to take anything away from the 70 to 72s, but the 73, 77s, boy, they were just so sculptured and like just stately. You know what I mean? I really like those cars.
Ryan says, I wish I could get advice on all Mopar stuff over here. Well, ask in the comments. Ask in the comments. Like just Mopar Joe, I know you comment on his stuff. He shared, I think, a post of yours or something. So you're in the right circles for Mopar stuff for sure. You've got enough access to get what you need.
We should collectively put together a Mopar channel.
I'm game. You don't have to ask me twice.
Oh, I'll tell you what. Why don't we do this, okay? Because we can get it monetized immediately, right?
Well, yeah.
Why don't we do this? Why don't you start a Mopar channel?
Well, yeah, with a collective of the Mopar people.
The collective of the Mopar people, right? And then whatever comes in
Goes back in the channel.
Can go back into the channel, right? But you would have to direct it and say, okay, Tony, I want you to do a piece on fill in the blank. And you tell the other guy, I want you to do a piece on fill in the blank.
Let's work on the details. I mean,
we'll just do a Mopar.
I can tell you right now, between you and I and just Mopar Joe, shameless plug here, I know there's 3 people that will contribute right off the bat, just like that. And Ryan. And Ryan, of course. Ryan here says, yes, I know. Well, you got to contribute. You got to pull your weight. But I think there's people who would do it. Cool. Okay.
I would want to, I would want to take whatever comes in from that channel, roll it up on a ball, and then like try to help people that are, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like you got a lot of guys that are struggling, and then we can.
We practically do that anyway. Joe and I are building the motor for Hayden.
Right.
You're getting people doing stuff for their. We practically do it anyway, as it is. Okay. So Judge Mojo says in and in. Okay. All right. We know Brad's into more Mopar content.
Wow.
Sue Lobb says more Mopars.
I gotta do less Mopars on my channel, but yeah, we need a Mopar channel, collective Mopar channel.
Joe says that's why I started with you. Joe is doing that. He's the real deal. He's doing that stuff. Hey, look at this. Monty says you suck.
Oh, thanks, Monty.
Hey,
thank
cool. Uh-oh, wait a minute. What? Mopar channel for the win? You can contribute to that too, We'll let you switch teams for a video or two.
Yeah, if you set it up and direct it.
Oh, wait a minute. Monty misdirected that. Sorry. Thank you.
Oh, well, that's cool. It's an honor.
Let's see. Oh, wait a minute. The UTG network is back? Where did it go?
We have big plans for the network. That's one of the reasons why we went to that shop, but we're not going to talk about any of that just now. I don't want to personally do a Mopar channel right now because I would become too involved in it, and I need to focus on some other
It will be too much fun.
It would be too easy. Yeah. Honestly, it would just be too easy. I don't want to do anything that's like too easy because then I'll lose interest in it. It has to be a challenge.
Good question. Ever built the Caddy 472 500?
Never.
Those are neat engines, though.
Never.
They're heavy, but they're neat. They make tons of power.
I mean, back in the day, I did plenty of work on them, but never performance stuff,
There's a guy, who's that guy out there that's making stuff for them? He's like making intakes and stuff for
them. Yeah, I can't think of the name of it.
John Disk, y'all get vaccinated. No, if they make a troll vaccine, I'm taking it. Let's see.
I have never once worn a mask through this entire thing, and vaccination.
Don't, yeah, I agree. Don't get me started on parts out. Let me tell you, I was telling Tony a story like yesterday. So a friend of mine has a Toyota overhead cam 4-cylinder. I took the lifters out, and I couldn't remember how I did it, but I labeled them like on paper and laid them in order. And then, because it was going to rain, I wanted to put the head in. I put the lifters back in order in the head and set it inside. So far, so good, right? Then I take it to the machine shop. I set the head, stand it up, forgot the lifters were in it, and they spill out all over the floor. And now the lifters are mixed up, and I got a disaster, right? I went and looked at a new lifter. I took the thing out of the box. I said, that is some of the junkiest metal I have ever seen, and said, our odds are actually better on mixed up lifters than new Chinesium junk.
That's true.
We put the old lifters back in. That was a year ago, and it runs fine. And that's how little faith I have in the new stuff.
Heather, by clockwork, listen, right? We do a Wednesday night tech talk over at my friend Dallas's place, right? So Dallas has an engine run stand. And the very first video we did at his place, he had a Buick, he had just put a cam in it. And, rebuilt the whole motor, but it just put a cam, it was going to break in the cam on the run stand. So it had a new HEI in it, okay? So like clockwork, live, while we're doing this, right? He fires the motor up, adjusts the idle. It's at the 2,000 RPM range. It runs for about 3 minutes and then dies. Silence, right? It was the HEI, new HEI, done, right? So he found an old distributor in the back. He grabbed a module out of an old distributor, threw it in there, and it ran.
This was the guy that had MS that needed help building something. I think I remember him posting before.
Oh, okay,
and he found a local machine shop, helped reach out. He's getting his dream on his way.
Nice.
How great is that?
Nice. See, that's the power of the community that we got here.
I love that.
That's the power of the community we got here.
Also, speaking of parts store garbage, Zero was saying on here, Zero can correct us wrong. There was some part he got, he went through like 9 of them, like alternators. They were all just junk out of the box. And it doesn't matter where you go because it all comes to the same. I remember when Napa had, and they still have a few good things like their points and some of the Eklund stuff, but they've all gone to like the same thing, like that A1 Cardo junk, and it's all garbage no matter where you get it.
You can't get a water pump that doesn't leak.
Nope, and you can't get a good CV axle either. I'll go to the junkyard and get a low mileage CV axle before I'll ever go get a rebuilt one.
The auto repair industry is in deep shit trouble because it's gotten to the point now, right? People taking the simplest jobs that, you don't even think about. You're going to throw CV joints in or going to throw a water pump in.
It should just be in and out and done.
Should be in and out, and they end up doing the job 2, 3, 4 times. Yep. And like some of these, like these water pumps are buried in these ridiculous places, it's like a $700 job to change a friggin' water pump, and they have to eat it the second and the third time.
Yep. And then the customer gets mad and goes somewhere else.
If you're in the auto repair industry, you really better start looking at some higher ground because it's getting bad and it's going to get worse.
If I need an alternator or a starter, I will go to the junkyard and get a low mileage one and do the R&I twice just to not have to get a rebuilt one.
Yeah, I agree.
Root Mopardo's got a good question about box. Speaking of that.
Okay, question. Can will distributors still fire but with no advance if the orange box is bad? I'm only getting about 4 degrees advance. No. When those boxes go bad, they'll break up at higher RPM. So because your advance, you're still dealing with your mechanical advance. You're still dealing with your mechanical advance on that. But when those boxes go bad, generally speaking, up around like 3,500, 4,000 RPM, they'll just start breaking up and scattering. I've seen them go bad at lower RPM too, like just low vital. You give it some gas, just low vital.
Your record did that.
My record did that.
Yeah. I've seen them just melt. They short out and the epoxy just pours down the firewall.
Yeah, people wonder why just points. Just throw points at it. You're done with it, right?
I've had a lot of points fail, but I've had probably even more HEI boxes fail. Oh, and the new ones are garbage. That $14.99 box for the electronic ignition, they are pure junk. I would not give it 50-50 out of the box. Yeah, see, exactly. This.
Working on modern cars made me hate my passion for turning wrenches. I left and now it's a hobby again. Yeah.
Yeah, they can do that. And No, wait a minute. This. I went through 3 CV axles before. See, that's what happens. It's exactly what happens.
Before getting a relatively good one. Not even a good one. I got a relatively good one.
I went to
just what everybody needs. Relatively good parts.
I went to AutoZone and I got one under warranty one time, and one end of it was sandblasted so heavy with the rust in the core pile that the thing wouldn't, the retaining ring wouldn't retain in the transaxle, and the thing would pop out occasionally and start leaking everywhere. They're just junk.
Hoard parts, guys.
Yes.
Seriously, hoard parts.
If you got to make, do it. Yeah.
Yeah. If you got a car you care about, right? Hoard parts. Do it now. Because if you think it's bad now, wait 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the road.
Worse.
Yeah. Now they're sending you shit parts. Wait till they send you no parts, and that's coming next.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
That's what's coming next. You're going to find that if you've got a 10-year-old car, right? Well, it'll probably be 8 years because they run the loans out to 8 years. But you're going to find in a not too distant future that if you've got a 10-year-old car, nothing's going to be available for it.
I remember, and I say this, the demographic on here is actually older than people might think. But I remember very well when I was a teenager, if I had a leaky wheel cylinder, I could get a kit and hone it and still keep the good wheel cylinder and the seals. And then you couldn't get that anymore. And then you couldn't get the wheel cylinders anymore. And you could get a carburetor kit. Then you couldn't get the kit. Then you couldn't get it. There's fewer and fewer parts for everything available these days. It's pretty bad.
But I'm telling you what the cycle is going to be. They're trying to eliminate the second-hand car. They're trying to eliminate the car that lives beyond its loan cycle. This is a very active thing that they're doing. And I'm telling you, very soon, I mean, not tomorrow, but very soon, over the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, you're going to start finding if your car's 10 years old, you won't be able to get the common parts to keep it running. They are deliberately going to remove all of that stuff from the market. So hoard parts.
There are fewer people working on their own stuff. It's not good.
Being a gearhead and being a hot rod and all that, it's all going to change. And I'm not talking about government interference. I'm not talking about regulations or anything like that. I'm really not. It's going to become radically different in the very near future. And a lot of you guys are going to be like, a lot of people look at the things that I do, the way I do them, and they're like, he's nuts, right? The reasons I do certain things are going to start to become very apparent over the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years.
Absolutely. Air-cooled VWs. Well, I'll tell you, don't take that for granted.
Don't take anything for granted.
Yeah, those.
You get another deal where scrap prices go crazy, and you're going to see another big wave of shit that goes away.
This is just typical lifetime warranty. Yeah, but who cares about the lifetime warranty when you've laid into that thing in the rain 3 times to change a starter? You know what? If you have an A body with headers, you will not care how good the warranty is. You don't want to do that job again.
Just B body with headers too, the same thing. That's the worst.
Yeah.
You got to actually if you have a B body, a B body with headers, a big block with headers, okay, you have to actually put the starter in. You have to take the header down. You have to put the starter into the cavity of the header, and then put the header and the starter up like this in place to get it in the. You
know what? The first time I did headers on one of those, it made me want to have a car with a rope start.
Right. Well, that was one of the reasons on my daily drivers for years. So you got to go back, way back. In my daily drivers for years, I refused to have headers. I absolutely refused to put headers on a daily driver Mopar because, like, the common things that you would need to do, like change the starter or whatnot, became an ultimate nightmare. So I didn't want to deal with that on a daily driver.
Who still uses good plugs?
I don't know, man. I don't know. But plugs are another thing you might want to start hoarding.
Tony practices what he preached because we were moving the shop. I saw McCormick gaskets from the 70s in his stash. He keeps that good stuff right on back. Yeah, the Dakota starters is kind of a cheat code. But again, you run into the same problem. The parts house Dakota starters are junk. You want to find the good one that came from the factory in the 80s. Hoard parts now. Shorty headers are nice, but I don't like shorty headers unless I have to. It's almost like, why bother?
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Yeah, I've never been a fan of shorties either. They're better than nothing, but they don't really tune. You know what I mean?
All right. Huge headers. What's y'all's favorite old truck? What is your favorite? I know you're not really a truck guy.
I'm not a truck guy.
But
I
wanted to have to give you a tough question.
That's a tough question.
I know, that's why.
That's a tough question because I'm not really a truck guy, so I see something I like what's his name? God, I can't think of his name. He's a friend of mine, like Chuck. My friend Chuck Yoder has a '69 F100 that I just love. It's just in his backyard.
What year is it?
'69.
A 69 F100? Yeah. That's fine too. Mine's a 68, 69. That body style, I think it's fantastic.
You know, but because I'm just not a truck guy. Trucks just don't, like rock my sandbox. So I can't really. I just see what I like, and I like it, and that's that.
I saw a '72 F350 sitting in an old roofing company, and there's no engine in it. And I left a note, and I thought, this guy calls me, I would do it. If he doesn't, I'm not real motivated, but I love that body style. I'd be so tempted to put a Chrysler engine in it, though. Tri-Y headers. What do we know about Tri-Y headers?
They work.
Scavenging.
Yeah, they work. I can't tell you that they work better than a full-length tuned, set of headers, but they do work. Coming 88 318, torn down, found a screw bouncing around in 3 cylinders.
It would run for 10 years like that, probably.
Oh yeah, I can't tell you how many times, you do this stuff your whole life, and it happens. I've dropped stuff down and just
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, oops,
right? Just ravaged the inside of the combustion chamber piston.
I've had it. I would never do this on somebody else's car. Okay, but I did it on my own. I did it on the GT, the one that I drive every day. I was changing the drop rods, right? Mm-hmm. And usually I just flip the thing over, but I was talking to somebody while I was taking this, and I took the screw all the way out, and when I realized I had taken it all the way out, I just go way to the back, and went clunk, and I couldn't fish it out. So I was like, you know what? Because I spent like 5 minutes trying to get it in, and it just wouldn't go. And you have a magnet in, and he says, you know what? And I opened the throttle, and I says, good, now you're down there. So just to end it, right? Just to end it, because I know it's not going to hurt. It's going to bounce around and embedding something, and that's the end of that.
That's terrible.
I'm just telling you, I got that kind of temper, It's like, oh, fuck you here. Move, eat the screw.
That was mean to your car.
It runs fine.
I'm sure. Oh, I'm sure it does. That's great.
I would never do that to somebody else's engine, right? So,
well, I dropped a wing nut down in an intake on a Chevy engine one time, and I know
that could do some damage.
Oh well, yeah, but that one you get creative and fish it out with a magnet and all that. That's great.
No, that was the thing. I went and looked for a magnet. I couldn't find a magnet. I don't know where the hell my magnet went, and I was like, and after trying to get a pair of needle noses down there, you can't get anything past because there's an Edel box, so it's got tiny little fucking spaces between everything. I was like, oh, fuck it. Here, eat the screw.
It probably bounced out, came out the exhaust anyway.
Probably.
Do you run less? We already answered that. It's not really a quantifiable thing. I think he's talking about with the flipped, with the reverse offset on the wrist pin. I'm going to do that on the 318 I'm doing. If for no other reason, just to see if people hate on it, because I don't care. Oh, wait a minute, what's this? He found a beat up air filter wing nut doing a head gasket at 350. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's common.
Yeah, it happens. Common. It happens.
If you've torn engines apart for any amount of time, you'll find screws and bits and chunks embedded in pistons and everything. And the motor never knows it's there. It's fine. It just goes down the road happy as a pig and shit. That's one of the beauties of the internal combustion engine. Is that they're so forgiving.
An electric car gets a drop of water somewhere inside that thing, it's done.
Yeah.
I dropped a spray straw. I was spraying oil in the cylinders on an LS one time, and the straw just shot right off the can. And I'm thinking I couldn't get it out for anything. I cranked it over. I looked. I did the same thing, like 5 minutes, all this stuff, and I said, it's plastic. Cranked the plug back in there. Never mattered. Never mattered. They apparently make that out of something that will completely burn up and not leave plastic residue.
Well, really, what's going to happen? It's not going to get past the rings. It's not going to jam up the valves for any amount of time before it melts.
Nah.
What's the worst that can happen?
Nothing. Nothing. And it's soft, even if it burns.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, I don't know why this thing stalled a little bit, but I saw a slant six one time. A friend of mine worked on, had a lifter come out laying in there. The lifter was out and it had no oil pressure for the longest time. He put it back together. Just those engines are tough. Oh, I had a push rod bent one time like a question mark in my 318 when the timing chain broke. And the guy that had it before me replaced the timing chain and it had 14 or 15 bent push rods that wouldn't roll. I replaced them, kept running it, ran it probably a couple more years like that.
I was working for Jerry Caminito, the funny car. This was like in the early 80s. And he did the burnout, right? As he's staging the car, one cylinder just kept getting wetter and wetter and wetter and wetter and wetter, and it was just spraying, right? So, but he made the run anyway, and the car ran whatever it ran. It was a representative kind of number. When we get back to the pits and pull it apart, one of the connecting rods had shortened itself up. It had actually taken on like this S shape. It was an aluminum rod, and it took on this S shape, and it actually it shortened itself up enough that the counterweight of the crank beat the bottom of the piston off, but it left the pin in place. And yeah, it ran. It made a 270 mile an hour run like that.
Dual snorkel intake.
Yeah. I mean,
This would be a Dallas question, wouldn't it?
How do I recognize a switch pitch 400 when it's in the car? Electrically, there's a plug.
Yeah.
There's a 2-wire plug on the passenger side.
Man, I have found more stuff like in oil pans and in engines and pieces of walnuts and everything.
I've done that. I've found literal mice in fucking oil pans.
AMC or Chevy straight six? I would say the AMC. That'd be my money.
No,
they're both good.
Are you talking about the stove bolt, like the early, like the 50s, the 40s, 50s?
No, I'm saying straight six.
Yeah, the little stove, the straight six Chevy was the stove bolt.
I'm saying the 258.
No, man. They're both excellent engines.
Yeah. Andrew agrees with me.
Well, see,
not that means anything.
The AMC motor comes from the same era as the Chevy stove bolt.
Yeah.
So I wasn't really sure if you were talking about that.
I don't know. The comments are saying AMC, but I don't know that.
Oh, they're good motors.
They're both good motors.
Yeah.
Well, they had to be back then. I don't know if AMC made their own straight. Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, it was unique. It had a Chrysler pattern on the back.
Well, originally it was it Hudson? No, it wasn't Hudson. It was oh God. I'm drawing a blank now. The motors that the companies that formed AMC, the straight six.
Oh yeah, was it Kaiser?
Kaiser.
Yeah.
Kaiser. The straight six was the Kaiser, and then it evolved.
What found the
valve?
So those little jet valves that the last carbureted cars, so that Hyundai, the first Hyundai engine I built, you know what the jet valve is? It's those little things screwed down in the combustion chamber. It's a little tiny valve, and carburetor cars have, and that's how they do the air injection. Those things will just disintegrate. They just burn up, and the heads are just missing with carbon. Those just go on in one side out the other, disappear.
I found an EGR valve in an engine that came in with a knock.
Yeah, that'll do it.
The head had broken off the EGR. I don't know if you know what an EGR valve looks like inside.
Yeah.
It's got like a cone shape.
Yeah, right.
It's got like a cone shaped valve, and I guess the thing burned enough. There was fire around. It broke off, and it got sucked through it.
They just turned to crap.
sucked in. The chunk of it got sucked into the combustion chamber. That came in with a knock. That was what the knock was. It was the piston. It embedded into the piston, and it was at the quench part of the chamber. So every time the thing went over, bang, 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 bang.
I have never found an engine that wasn't happier when you got rid of that stupid thing.
Oh, yeah.
Never in my life. That's a good question. I don't know.
Well, if an engine sits open for any amount of time, you leave the valve covers off it overnight, you go inside and you come out and finish the job in the morning, plenty of time for a mouse to climb in there and start, depends on the engine. A lot of them are open around the push rods, and they just right down. There was a big black Chrysler, which actually is open around the push rods.
Well, here's a little theoretical thing that nobody would actually do, right? If you have an EGR and it needs to stay there for appearance's sake, you can stick a BB and wedge it in there in the vacuum line. When it's fully closed, and it'll stay closed. You can just plate them off if it doesn't matter what it looks like. But if it has to be there for some appearance reason, you can do that and it'll stay shut.
I can tell you on my GT, there's a lifter rolling around in the oil pan.
Oh gosh. And you're still driving it.
I dropped it. And I was swapping out the cam. You know what I mean? And I made the lifters in the pan.
Yeah.
Pulled the cam out, and as I was gathering the lifters to take them out, right, which I should have done first, one of them fell through and it ended up in the oil pan. So there's this lifter rolling around the bottom of the oil pan.
Can't go anywhere.
I put probably 75,000 miles on it then.
Sure. 65.
Would a 66 to 68 727 be the same as a 65 727? No, 65 727 is cable shift. Even though you had a column shift or floor instead of the buttons, it's still a cable shift style transmission on the 65.
Wow, Gavin has a really original question. Man, I've never heard of those things. Nobody's ever asked about them on here.
No, Gavin, the Hemi 6 comes up 10 times alive. Every time we do a live, but we don't have them in this country at all, ever. They never imported them here.
Mike Phillip is saving me from certain incarceration. I did not know.
Oh, shit.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Illegal things. Oh my god. Oh my god. I don't want to go there.
I'm going to get charged with a felony now.
Yeah. I don't need to get shot by the cops when I walk out the house here.
Hour limit on a 318 block.
Damn if I know. I mean,
these magazine articles or whatever that say the limit that takes 500 horsepower, they're full of it.
It's all arbitrary. It depends on detonation.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything depends on detonation. If you could build an engine that doesn't detonate, that everything's just rotating, okay, there's an unlimited amount of power you can put through a block. It's when the motor reaches a point of detonation, or more importantly, bad harmonics due to sharp pulses, sharp pressure pulses. You want the pressure pulse through the entire RPM range to have a curve to it. Okay, when it's a sharp pulse, that creates, even though it's like quote detonation, it's a sharp blow to the reciprocating assembly, and that's what hammers and vibrates engines to the point that they crack.
Sean the person, thank you. That's what else you say. Okay.
My grandmother, so when I brought Uncle Kathy home, right, the first time, so my family, old school Italian, right? So when I was 21, 21, I don't know, and I brought Uncle Kathy home to the family to meet my family, right? And blonde hair, blue eyes, freckles, okay. And my grandmother called me the Antichrist. She wouldn't talk to me for a while. She says, "You're the Antichrist," because I brought home an Irish chick. German Irish. She meant it. I mean, she was serious.
Yeah, this is obviously for race only.
Yeah.
Never been done anywhere else. Bruce W. wants to know when the next live with Holdner is.
I guess next week. I give him not next. We want to do it when we left off with him. We were talking about doing it once a month. So I'll give him a call. I don't know, later on this week, and we'll schedule the next one.
It's funny how they kind of come and go in waves. Like the thing will be flying, and then it slows down with the same number of people.
I know.
Interesting.
We still have 345 people on right now.
Oh, this is a good
surprised.
question. Thoughts on running a PCV valve?
I always want a streetcars. Always want a PCV valve.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Ben Smith, do you think it's a waste of? No, we just said
absolutely not.
no.
On a streetcar, always, without
man.
fail, always use a PCV valve.
Oh, Michael Phillip. Oh my goodness, he might be a felony in California. Oh my gosh.
Did you ever see the PCV
I'm
system
so
I have on
worried
Power
about this. No.
I actually built on the one side. It's got a panty vac tube. It's got a panty vac tube in the driver's side header.
Oh yeah. We have the old school PCV using it. Yeah, evac to header. Yeah, I like that system. Yeah, Holner's lives are almost. It's a balance.
But that's what he does.
Yeah, that's right.
That's what he does. He's more social.
Yeah.
And we try to keep everything social on the Sunday night one, and we try to be technical on the Wednesday night one.
You know what? We had everything is a potato or not a potato here.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can have that esoteric fountain of knowledge from people like Holtner, or Vizard or Andy Wood. I mean, it's a good mixture. You need a mixture.
Yeah. Everybody in this YouTube universe has a different niche. They have the thing that they do.
What do you mean, just ignore me? I didn't. What? You post your question again, Mopar Man 1978. You and your 65 Dart that runs around in Missouri. Yes, I don't ignore you. What? Post your question
How long
again.
do you want to go tonight, man?
Whatever.
We're creeping up on 3 hours.
I don't care. Whatever you want to do, you're the boss.
Well, I mean, you got your mom here, and you got to run back to Virginia.
I'm not running back tonight.
No.
No, so I don't care. No, I got to pick up I'm replacing the sealant in my garage. The guy that put the drywall up in my garage in 1988, he thought that 1-inch nails around the perimeter would hold up the drywall and the ceiling.
3/4 inch drywall.
So it's falling one panel at a time, and I've replaced it with plywood. So my uncle's given me this thing that holds the panels up so you can put them in by yourself. So, okay, I'll use it. So I'm going to pick it up tomorrow morning. I'd highlight that comment just to get some hate. Just because we can. Did Dakota say goodnight? Let's time him out.
Yeah, if he's there.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Boom.
Time out.
Done.
That was easy.
I love this.
It's
Something
fun,
else is
isn't
my
it?
favorite.
It is fun. This is a hoot. We were talking today, and we thought, no. Let's just stop so we can talk with these people. It'll be more fun. Greenway wants to know, we're going to see more of that museum Mercury cycle.
I got to get over there, bro. I've been so busy with other stuff. Let me tell you, man, running a YouTube channel eats your brain. It takes your whole headspace, and I just haven't. That just slipped off my radar, and I got to get back into. I got to switch mental gears and get back into all that.
Colleen says the 318s are bulletproof. What do you? She's asked that several times. So what do you know is going to survive on Bottle Rocket, and what do you think might break?
I don't think the Pistons are gonna be. I mean, I got them for nitrous, the rings. And there's got but I think the Pistons are gonna give us a problem. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I just get it's gonna break something. We'll find out.
If you're here to pollute instead of perform, I know when I build a car, I want to see how much pollution I can make. That's the goal. I don't care if it makes 300 horsepower or 675.
She's talking about the
EPA
stuff, coal
stuff.
guys
Yeah.
and all the other shit.
Well, but I just mean not exactly. But how much vacuum does a PCV need?
That's a good question. I don't know. The unported vacuum, manifold vacuum.
It needs some.
It needs manifold vacuum.
Yeah.
Back to the pollution thing. It's like here's the thing, right? I want to care about it, and I'm serious. I'm being 100% serious, right? I want to care about the environment. I want to care about all of these things. I swear to God, I really do. but I can't find it in me to care about that. So I just ignore it. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
My intention is to be good, but I can't find it in me to be good. I hope you don't take offense of me because I'm just being honest.
What? The two you're building a fun ride together. What is that? You talk like Plan Z or you talking about Lunar?
No idea. What was that last one?
Lunar?
No, before Lunar. You had highlighted something.
Oh yeah, this.
I just looked at it and then looked away.
This. Bottle Rocket will still be slow.
Oh yeah.
Bottle Rocket is not slow. I drove that car today. It's not slow.
Yeah, no, it's slow. It's slow.
Yeah, but relative to what? It's a quick car. It just depends on your expectations.
Well, if you time it, like let's say using the erosion of rocks as your guideline, you know what I mean? Then it's actually extremely fast. And I mean wind erosion, not rain erosion. Wind erosion.
Okay, so it's possible to be fast and careless completely. Well, I agree. I like to run ignitions that get as much combustion. I like to have as efficient an engine as I can, which is very key to less emissions and more performance. I agree with that.
Yeah, I just can't really find the place inside of me that cares. I want that place to be there. I absolutely want everybody else to care. I just don't.
Okay, I gotta post this.
Being honest.
I gotta post it just because it's funny. So, Brian, if you're watching, I guess you got a kick out of that.
Go away, learn and spray paint more fake blood.
I don't know.
Brian? Did you spray paint fake blood on your car?
Oh, it was great. Mopar Den, you do not strike me as the fast and reckless is always better kind of guy at all.
Well, yeah, you see, here's the thing, right? I really personally, I get no pleasure out of going fast, but I find myself going fast anyway, even though I really don't want to. Okay, and reckless, unfortunately, that's another point, right? Where I don't want to be reckless. I want to be careful. I want to, to care and be responsible, but I don't have those things in me to care and be responsible, although I wish I did. You know what I'm saying?
All right. No hate.
What was that?
Nothing. Just nonsense about the satellite. Let me tell you something about that satellite. That satellite, as rusty as it was to save that, was amazing. I'll give it all the credit in the world for that. Performance is efficiency. That is very true. And every car guy should know how to recover and reclaim refrigerant.
Yeah, see, I'm
good with that.
I'm like, here's the thing, right? Okay, so I'm doing AC, okay, and it's like I look at the AC, you know what I mean, system, okay, and then I look at the Earth, okay, and I see the vastness of the Earth, and I see the volume of our atmosphere, and then I look at the AC system,
That's a
and I say to myself, I want to care that this couple of ounces of Freon is going to maybe make a hole in the ozone layer, but then I look at the vastness of everything, and I'm like, it doesn't matter.
That answer is so you.
But it's true. It's true. I swear to God. These are things that I wrestle with inside. You know what I'm saying? I'm not joking around. I want to care, but then it's just like, oh God, this is just not going to matter, and it won't.
Mike Yen wants to know if he can run a car without a condenser. It'll run. I mean, I like the old condensers. They practically never go bad. What? I don't even know what that is. Squatted trucks?
That's the Carolina, whatever they call that. It's where they lower the back of the truck. They take on like a gasser stance with the truck.
Ooh. Who no? Oh, I don't like that at all. Yes, I do remember the paint job of the satellite. Literally how that happened. I started telling him about Wheels of Terror, and he's watching it like, yeah.
What's that, Super Chat?
Oh yeah, Super Chat, Mopar in.
Oh, yeah.
Next UTG jerk, I tried to care.
I do. I swear to God, I try to care. I do the same thing with food, right? I was like, I really shouldn't eat this. This is no good. I can't, And then the next thing you know, bam, I'm shoving it down my face. There's cigarettes. I'm smoking. I always say to myself, this is going to kill me. This is going to take like 7 years. You know what I mean? It's like, it's going to take 7 years off my life. But then I think about it, I don't want that 7 years. It's like, oh, screw that 7 years. I don't want to deteriorate and be all hunched over and stuff like that. And like, remember I could do things. I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be drooling and wearing diapers. So I'll take the fucking cigarettes. But I want to care. I want to care. I want to care. I just don't.
Okay, well, Matt S is telling us about Carolina Squad. There we go.
Yeah, it's the thing.
I didn't know about it. I'm not.
It's the newest fad.
Okay.
Been around for a couple of years. I got a bunch of trucks running around here with the Carolina Squad.
I see more weird stuff running around here than at home.
Yeah.
Like the people running around in second gear and all that stuff. I see so much more of that here. That's a compliment.
I am an old school punk. I mean, it's that simple.
That was your Gray Body's only username, wasn't it?
White Punk on Nitro, yeah. I grew up in New York in the 1970s, taxi driver. I drove taxis in New York in the 70s. It's like
people.
Yeah, Goodfellas. You ever see Goodfellas? You ever see like the part of Goodfellas when he's a kid? Right, and that was me. I did that. That was exactly me. I was the guy at the cab. I was the kid at the cab stand that did all the running around and everything. So yeah, that's where I come from. So it's like it's hard to care about these freaking things.
James A, absolutely, that would be a wonderful daily.
Yeah, perfect daily.
Oh,
actually.
yeah. Doesn't get much better than that. Okay. Tell them about your cabs. Andrew's asked about your cabs.
Gypsy cabs. We used to run gypsy cabs, car service. And I rode gigantic cars. I was 16. It was a year before I was supposed to get my license. And I had a cab, a gigantic car service that I used to run the night shift on. So it would be like a 12-hour, it was 6 o'clock at night to 6 o'clock in the morning. And I drove New York City cabs, or gypsy cabs in New York, in the 70s. And then I would work on cars during the day. That's where I got the money to spend on cars.
You ever pick up Jodie Foster?
Probably could have.
This is a good one. I think your chicken could beat Steve Torrance.
I did hit on Joan Jett once at a drag race.
I think Trudy could beat Steve Torrance too, depending on the day. Yeah. So is Trudy going to drive your fuel car? Is she going to be the shoe for the fuel car? Should be good at that. I hear she can pedal it.
She probably could. Yeah. She's chicken,
Right. Yeah, she can pedal it when it gets out about 60 feet, gets out of shape. Oh, the Checker Marathon. Oh, I like those cars. Those are so neat. See, you got to have that different automotive language and non-existent parts, nothing in the junkyard and all. That's what keeps you away from some really cool cars. I like the Checker Marathon.
So what?
If it weren't for all that stuff, they would be great.
I'm surprised they never caught on as like hot rods. Because
they should.
It's so close to like the Tri-5 Chevy and all.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
yes.
Like the 55 Chevy and the Checker Marathon have like a spiritual connection to them. I never understood why people didn't like to pile on the Checker Marathons.
You can't get any parts for them or anything like that, but
they were Chevys. There's Chevy engines, transmissions, drivetrains, suspension.
But I mean,
parts.
like body stuff and stuff like that.
Body stuff, yeah, but just saying, it's a Chevy.
See, I like what they've done in. I saw this Austin Mason, and I thought for just a minute that Austin Rogers of Paragon Engines in Baxter, Tennessee, was messaging
The
you.
guy who's going to school me.
I thought for just a minute.
Austin Rogers of Paragon Racing Engines in Baxter, Tennessee, the guy who's going to school me.
But this is Austin Mason. That's a good question about what transmission you're putting in the Gambler.
Oh, 727.
727.
Yeah.
Yeah, 71 value with a 318 and 4-belt, great deal. Absolutely, all day. Yeah, see, Marathon's based on a 56 Chevrolet. Yeah, I can see that. See, I like what they're doing down in Cuba, where they're like repower with a Russian diesel or something.
They do some shit too.
They do. They have no constraints for taste or anything. They just do whatever.
They make their own windshields.
Do
They
they?
make their own windshields.
Really?
Yes.
How? Like with the glass?
Fuck if I know.
Do they heat the glass on bucks to do
They
it?
do whatever it is that they do. They make their own
Wow.
windshields.
That's awesome. That is so cool. I would love to go there if I thought it was safe. Were nearly all the checkers crushed? Well, I mean, kind of. They just rotted and just disappeared, and they were fleet cars.
Yeah, well,
I've seen them.
Nobody wanted them, you know what I mean? And there was no demand for them, which I was always surprised at. The other thing I was always surprised I never had demand for, and I always thought was one of the coolest looking cars ever built, the Granadas, the 75, 76,
Yes.
77 Granadas. I thought those were the coolest looking cars. They were just tight. They were boxy, you know what I mean? It was a box, but, you know, I just big tires, radius wheel wells, skinnies up front, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That is a bad looking car, but nobody ever paid any attention to it.
You know that the people take them and gut like the front end and the disc brakes and the rear end and stuff. Why? They were great cars.
They were great cars.
They were sporty. Oh, right here. Make a video on getting mileage with carbs and timing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's an odd one. The early 70s Mopar, they're good engines, but you're talking about like the one with the more of a 340 basis for the block? Just as like water jackets?
Yeah. Well, the early 360s were built on 340 cores. Or used 340 cores for the.
Yeah. People worry way too much about that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I've seen people hunt around for what they think is thick wall and all this stuff. Just does not matter.
And it's ironic because like you talk about 440s, right? People always like, oh, late 440s are junk, they're no good, right? But the 76 through 78 440s have the revised Hemi main saddles in them that were developed for nitro, actually. So if you've got like a late 70s motorhome engine, let's say 440, that thing has the same bottom end, the same main saddles as the nitro Hemi did. But no, it's junk because it's late model.
Okay. UTG versus Dallas drag car build. Race them and see who wins.
We would have to build something that was identical, you know, for that to be fair.
A friend of mine had a 72 Charger 318, but he never did. He always just messed around with it. He never did drive it. He should have. Yeah, here we go. There's such thing as a thin wall 440.
Right.
Yeah. That's just the kind of stuff people like to worry about. So, so there's a core cast index number on a block.
Okay.
And that's a number that once people found out about it, they started worrying about it. You know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't.
Oh, yeah. So you ever look on the side of the block, it'll have like, for example, 340-5.
Right.
You know what that number means, the 5?
I know about the 318-3.
Okay. No. This is a different thing altogether.
Okay.
This is the core cast number. So when they take a block, a mold at the factory, the mold is 2 pieces. You have a right, left, and a right bank and a left bank. Okay. And then as those wear out, they would replace individual cylinders. So if you have a 340-4, it means the mold was 4 pieces. So you'd have a right, left bank, and then 2 of those individual cylinders have been replaced.
Really?
And when you see like 340-10, that means all 8 of them have been replaced. And theoretically, you'll have the maximum amount of core shift because all 8 have been individually changed.
I have no idea about that. I had no idea about that.
You'll look. Yeah, you'll see it.
But if you guys are looking for the best 440 to build, out of all of the 440s, the best 440 to build, 76 through 78. Actually 79. They cast them into 79 because they're using the trucks.
Some nerd found out about the core casting index number, and then they just started worrying about it, and it's so nonsense. And that's true. I mean, it's like transmissions. They made certain improvements as they went, but all of them,
No, you're wrong about all 440s being solid engines. The earliest, the 66 and 67s were prone to cracking in the water jackets. You get right at the bottom of the water jacket on the outside, you'll get a crack that runs between the freeze plugs. That was common on those engines, and that's why they added the ribs in the later years. Like, so I guess they started adding the ribs in 69, I believe it was. But the earliest, the 66, 67 440s were prone to cracking between the freeze plugs.
Hey, Christian, this question right here, rewind this about an hour or two. You get all kinds of thoughts on the Ford FE. All kinds of them.
Why not go with a V6 or a 4-cylinder Miata? Because the slant 6 is just wrong.
Yeah.
And it's something I want to do. And I think it's going to sound amazing.
Yeah. Speaking of, I don't know exactly what he's referring to with weak castings. You ever seen the Holley carburetors, the early ones that fall apart, the main bodies just crumble? Have you seen that? Okay, so I have one that I pulled out of the box here a couple weeks ago. And I mean, it is bad. Like the whole main body is disintegrating. Just the casting is just turning to crap. And I called Andy about it, our friend Andy Wood, the Holley carburetor guru. And he said, yes, up until the early 90s, they had some really bad castings. And I guess if they get exposed to certain temperature and moisture, they just fall apart.
Interesting. I haven't had that.
I got a picture to show you. It'll make your skin crawl. They just start disintegrating. But it seems to be completely contained to the main body. And by the early 90s, they fixed it. So, whatever that's worth. Did the 170 have a big, heavy crank like the 225?
No. It has a crank that's much more related to the late 225 crank. The 81 through 87, which is the one that I use in the Plan Z motor. No, smaller counterweights. It doesn't come anywhere near the oil pan. Much better. The 170 is a perfect engine. I don't care what anybody says. The engineers who designed it stepped back, looked at it, and said, "We've created the perfect engine." And that's not my words; that's their words. You can research this and find it yourself. The 170 is the perfect internal combustion engine.
We have a couple of RV 440 questions. Okay, what specifically is different about the RV 440?
Nothing. It's the same 440 that they put in the Chrysler, full-size Chryslers and all the other applications. Some of the motorhome engines had different cylinder heads, where the water jackets are different in the cylinder head. Not all of them. And they take a different water pump housing. But when you talk about the short block of it, right? No, they're exactly the same. What I have found is that a lot of the quote, the RV motors were factory 30 over. And I think what they did was they took the reject blocks from the assembly line, right? And then like after they filled however many they needed for the car orders, they took the ones that needed to be refinished, whatever, and they did those and stuck them on the motorhomes. Because I've had at least three. I'm going to say at least three that were factory 30 over. The one that's in my 67 Charger is a factory 30 over 440. It was an RV motor.
What are we going to give away for 500,000 subs?
I'll do a dance for you. I'll do an exotic dance, an interpretive dance to show my appreciation for $500,000.
Well, I'll tell you what. If you guys give me 500,000 subs, I'll give you something really cool.
Yeah. Okay. No, I'm not giving away the Miata. Once I lay my hands on something, once I get involved in it, it becomes part of me.
Well, he said or
I'm not going to
something.
get rid of it.
He said or something. Yeah. I'll tell you what. You get Tony 500,000 subs tonight. I bet you can have a free 71 Valiant.
No. I'm torn what to do with that car. I've got a 71 Valiant sitting in the back of the lot, and I'm torn what to do with that car. I have so many things going on now, so it's not something I would do tomorrow. But one service is build a rallycross car, or maybe build a dirt track car, or I want to do just something that's just like crazy bit. But low buck, all fun and crazy.
Dance party.
Yeah.
You're gonna have a
I'll
disco
do like an
ball in the
interpretive
shop?
fucking dance. Yeah, it'd be
You
great.
need a disco ball in the shop.
Yeah. I'll make hypnotic motions with my
Only if you walk all four at once.
We'll
You gotta walk all four.
naked. My dogs are always naked.
You gotta walk them all four at once in the neighborhood.
My dogs are always naked. I never put clothes on.
The answer is no, French under. The answer is no, you cannot.
No.
Done. They're gone.
They're gone.
Have a chance to buy a 318 early 60s or late. Well, okay. It's a poly.
Okay.
No, it is not the same block.
But you can use it.
Yeah, but it's not. He's asking, is it the same block?
You can put LA heads on a poly head block, no problem.
Yeah.
But you can't put poly heads on an LA block. And the reason for that is because of the push rod clearances in the valley. The valley of the engine, even though they maintain the 59-degree lifter angle with a poly, they changed the valley along like the upper valley, so that the push rods won't work.
I don't know what it is, but there had to be some reason Buck Whitten wanted to run it. He ran a poly block, didn't he?
Yeah.
With his
Well, the poly block weighs 40 pounds more than an LA block.
There had to be a really good reason he did it. Yeah.
Ooh, they're thick. They're crazy. People all the time go 4 inches on them, which is 90 thousandths over, and they don't even check it. It's just a poly block, go 90.
Wow.
So yeah,
Okay.
they're good beefy blocks.
Danny Boyd, which heads are better?
Them.
What?
Those heads.
Those heads, the ones with valves.
Just those heads.
Yeah. Or what about the ones without valves, flatheads? Miata and Gasser.
I thought about that. Right.
That's sacrilegious.
It would be cool, but I really want to autocross. I want to do something different with my life. I want to try something different. So.
Really? Does an LA head require a different piston on the poly? I wouldn't think.
Geez, the poly has just a very slight indent in the piston for the exhaust valve. I bet you could probably get away with using. Yeah, you wouldn't have a problem. No matter how you look at it, the indent it's not a positive deck piston, so the indent isn't going to make any difference. The valve isn't going to hit.
Would a slant 6 be a good engine choice for a World War I buck?
I
would do it.
Wow.
Yeah, I would do it.
David, you're going places. Yeah, I don't see why not. I know. Jeez.
Also, Mason's asking what days you're live. Well, this channel is live on Sundays and Wednesdays and occasionally others.
Well, okay, we do the interactive thing every Sunday night, and then we do the tech talk on Wednesday. That's the one we do over at Dallas's place. Well, we start doing that at the shop soon. And then we do, we got together with Richard Holdner, and we got together with D&D Speed Shop, and we got together with Ryan Brute. So we do those whenever they pop up. We're doing one on Thursday with Austin Griggs from the Riding Muscle.
Here's just a general housekeeping thing. Chris Greenway says I'm behind. Guys, there is I can't show you the screen, obviously. There's a red bar at the bottom of your screen. Put your mouse over it, and on your phone, you can tap the screen and check it. Make sure that bar is all the way to the right if you want to be real time. If you have any gray space between the red bar and the right side of the window, you are behind the chat.
That's what we call Super Mod, because only he knows these things.
But you can sit and watch it, and you won't realize you will lose a little bit of time. And an hour later, you'll be 5 minutes behind and not know it. Check the red bar at the bottom of your screen, pull it all the way to the right, and boom, you'll be caught up just like that. Oh, yeah. Bullnose is the lake in front of the ground. So I put a picture on my community tab of, I call it Lake Rutledge.
You guys have no idea. Listen, I owe that place a lot because this channel would not be here now. We wouldn't be in a position we're in now if we didn't have that space. So I am eternally grateful to that space. But it was hell. I mean, you have no idea. It was the most inhuman working conditions you can imagine.
Okay, so here's a picture. This is the back wall of the shop this morning. Look at the water. See that? That comes in from the back.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an inch deep over there.
And then it comes in from the front, too.
Well, I got a picture of that, too. I'm getting there. So in the front, I mean, people just don't. Okay, this is in the front. So you see the wrecker out front. The water comes in. I mean, that's just, it comes halfway in the doors. That's how far it creeps back. But it just comes all the way around them.
Yeah, and when it's not muddy like that, then it's dusty. There's no in between. There's no in between. So
it's unreal. I mean, we're not talking about just a little bit of water here. We're talking about a lot. It's a lake.
But you see, now you got to remember, we picked that place up 2 years ago. We picked that place up because we needed something to do with this channel. You know, because we needed a place to do tech stuff and bills and whatnot for this channel. So we grabbed that because we weren't going to invest a lot of time or money or energy into something that may or may not work. So we grabbed that, and that's what we used for the last 2 years. Then the channel grew, and the ad structure changed on YouTube. There's significantly more money involved in it now than there was, let's say, 2 years ago. So at this point, it's like, well, okay, we gotta take the next step. So that's why we grabbed the shop that we're in now, which is what I'm more accustomed to, you know, an actual shop. So, but yeah, but again, see, I owe that place this channel. All the success that we've had is because we had facilities to do what we did. And you're not done seeing that because my legal team is moving in there.
John and Brion.
Yeah. So my lawyers have actually taken that place over, and that's going to be in addition to all of the normal stuff that you're seeing that we've been covering on this channel. Well, those guys have got a bunch of different projects, trucks and a donk and all sorts of things that you'll be seeing, we'll be covering on this channel. So
I shot some quick video of their cars where they are now.
Yeah.
So they got some neat stuff.
Yeah,
really.
It's all Chevy oriented stuff. So
this morning, where I'm staying, you have to cut through the McDonald's parking lot, and the water was so high it was above the curbs of the parking lot. I don't know where it's like 8 inches deep of water. And these two old people in a white SUV, they pulled in from the other side of the lake, and they're looking at it and wringing their hands and talking to each other. And I just bore through it. Water just over the roof.
Out of my way, old people.
I did not care. Yeah, the water is really bad.
Out of my way, conservative old people.
Yeah. While you think about it, just turn your wipers on.
I'm on a YouTube mission. Get out of my way.
Yeah, I just. You know, with a car, if you guys ever watched the movie Speed Zone, when the car skips across the lake, that's me. If I can cross it, I don't care. He drove the red dot too far, and now
it's Monday. You gotta be careful. You know, the time-space continuum is like, you
could. I guess it's possible.
If you meet your future self, don't say anything.
Right.
Lazy at home, thank you. Lots of stuff is going to come out of the new place. Lots of stuff. What's up, buddy?
I can't highlight that.
Why? What is it?
No. Oh,
where is
man.
it? Where is it?
Oh, that's funny.
You're going to highlight it anyway. It's
you want to highlight it? Maybe. He's talking about a 351 Cleveland that runs on steam.
Yeah.
You know what? You should ask Andy Wood. He would love to answer that question on one of his lives. I saw a meme today, photo of an LS sitting on a trash can that said the LS swap is complete.
Oh, man, you know what? Don't talk shit about LSs. I mean, I'm a Mopar. I bleed Mopar, right? I'm a points guy, okay? But you can't talk shit about the LS. That is just, it's a jewel of engineering. Yeah, don't talk shit about LS.
This guy's talking about OptiSpark. That's that horrible distributor GM had back in the day.
Wouldn't do what with an OptiSpark?
Wouldn't do that with a LT1. Oh yeah, cross through the water.
Oh,
Oh no, those are junk.
Oh, those were. Oh, I'm remembering now. The OptiSpark,
Yeah.
the one that mounts on the front of the. Oh, jeez. Oh, God.
You know what I'm going to do right now? I have a list of things that should never have been invented, and I'm putting it on the list.
I'm gonna
there.
say that the OptiSpark was the first step towards the impossible car. The difficult to maintain. You're just gonna rip your fucking hair out trying to do the simplest things on a car. The OptiSpark was the first step in that direction.
I have a list of things that should never have been invented that includes things like padded toilet seats, legal papers, C-clip axles, auto-tune. I am adding OptiSpark to that list right now because it needs to be there.
Miserable system. The people who designed it, they hated.
Terrible.
They were a bunch of sociopaths. They just hated humanity, and that's why they did that.
They had a good system. Why? That's what I don't understand. I don't fault somebody if they have a bad system and we have these evolutionary steps to make a good system. They had a good system.
They could have just added a crank trigger to the thing and left the distributor.
Yes.
It would have been so much easier and simpler.
Okay.
The problem with engineers is that they have to reinvent the wheel every fucking year or they don't have a job.
Okay. Padded toilet seat. Okay. Torn vinyl, yes, that's a problem. The other thing is, you sit on one of those things, it goes shh, which means that it pulled in the air from the person before you. And so, yeah, I hate those things. They're disgusting. They should never have been invented. Enough about that. Keep my Mopar. Yeah,
I do.
You realize that I have owned a Mopar, the same Mopar, for 2/3 of my life.
I mean, I'm not exaggerating. Uncle Captain and Witness, I've had well over 1,000 cars.
Wow.
But the ones that I actually put time into effort into, or imagination into, I can't get rid of. I have gotten rid of them over time because I moved, circumstances changed, I needed cash or whatever, and so I would flip a car. But I've never in my life taken on a project with the idea of ever parting with it.
It's a good list, but there's other stuff on it, other people. It would just start a fight if I went through that list. I like the 318.
We all do, Levi.
The 318 is amazing. Why are we talking about padded toilet? Why not? The question is a padded toilet seat a potato or is it not?
It's not. It is not a potato.
See there, we answer the important questions.
That goes back to Ralph's statement.
We answer the important questions.
Potato toilet seat is not a potato.
What in the world is this? 4.3 Chevy V6 in a jet boat with a Chinese H. Well, stop right there. You now have a rowboat. Edelbrock carb doesn't backfire.
It goes in rows.
Chinese H. You know what?
Wait, what's doesn't backfire? Thing goes and then revs drop, then repeats itself. No backfire. Do you think HR is wrong? No, fuel starvation.
So when I was in auto tech school, one of the teachers said something I really liked. He said, if you find a problem, don't skip that problem looking for what you think the problem is. Fix that problem before you go on looking for the other problem. So to me, the Chinese HEI, just get rid of that now because we know
but that's not his problem.
But it's still.
But it's not his problem. He's not going to fix it.
No, he's not.
Yes,
but it is a problem.
The Chinese HEI is junk. Okay,
Yeah,
obviously,
right.
right? But your problem is most likely because I used to do a lot of boat work when I was in New York, and fuel starvation is a real issue with those things. Check the pump, check the lines, check the filter. Make sure it's not sucking any air on the suction side.
That does
fuel starvation. I did a lot of boat work back in the day.
I totally agree. We had floor drains. I don't know why they had to sophisticate them. What cam is going in the 360? Who's building a 360?
360. I don't have a 360. I have a 360 in my wife's car.
Oh yeah, well yeah, but it's already built.
Yeah, that's done.
What cam did you use it? Was it stock 360?
Stock cam.
Yeah. Good. That's a good choice.
Yeah, the roller.
Why use Chinese products in America? Because go to a parts store and say, I want this in American.
Right.
See what they have to offer you. Okay, Big Bear, I really don't want to know why. Oh, gosh.
What is Big
We
Bear?
got them on toilet seats now. Big Bear. I haven't used a toilet seat in 11 years.
Well, we're moving on.
Oh,
3.5
it's the
hours.
weird hour. It's the weird
It
hour.
is the weird
And
hour.
this is the kind of stuff you get on about the
I know.
third hour
It
right here.
happens every time, right?
Big Bear just told us he has really strong quadriceps, and that's in a roundabout way. And quoting George Carlin. Okay.
Do you ever get a hangover from these lives? Because I get a fucking hangover. Like tomorrow morning.
Not really.
After you leave, there's gonna be silence in this house. I'm not gonna talk. And then tomorrow morning, I don't like. Usually, I'll stop in the I go to the gas station, get my coffee, and all of the regulars that work there and everything else, and I'm always like, "Hey, what's going on?" But tomorrow morning, no, I'll walk in silently, get my coffee. Tony, what's going on? I'm just gonna walk in.
I know a guy who used to be a monk, and he said in the monastery they have so many hours of community per day or week or whatever. There's a certain amount of time, and you're silent the rest of the time. You can chatter. So this is your community.
Yeah.
And then you don't want to do this so much.
I'm telling you, I get a talking hangover.
Oh my gosh! All of these people are just talking about policies now.
It was just a weird hour.
It
At least we haven't gotten
absolutely
into Bigfoot and.
No, yeah, we're going to now.
Yeah.
See, that was.
Have you seen? Have you seen? See, there's so much crazy shit going on in the world, right? They completely the former not Richard Grenell. Who was the other the DNI, the Director of National Intelligence? Not Richard Grenell. Who's the other one? Who's the other one? It was a DNI about 3 years ago.
I don't know, man.
Why can't I think of his name? The former Director of National Intelligence, just 2-3 days ago, did an interview with I think it was Maria Bartiromo, and he said, we have these things on video, and we can explain what they do, or where they come from, or how they go about it, but it's not human. It's not from this planet. So you've got the Director of National Intelligence saying point blank, look, we got flying saucers, and they're not from here, right? But nobody even paid attention to it. The world is just like so crazy, right? That this just slipped right under the radar.
Galaxy says thanks for being here. Oh, well, thank you for having me. It's been a lot of fun. Oh my gosh. Look at this stuff. Okay, the clapper. So you remember the clap on?
Clap on, clap off. How could you forget that?
If you have one thing in your car that worked off the clapper, what would it be?
One thing that worked off the clapper?
Yeah. How about nitrous?
Headlights. I don't know.
He'd be driving down the return road and getting all those applause of the car, just like. Oh, man.
What do you think that girl's going to run next time we take it out?
Next time you take it out? In the 8th?
Yeah.
On the ball or not?
NA, and then
Okay.
first couple of runs are going to be.
NA in the 8th? NA in the 8th? 824.
824 is the number.
824 is the number.
Okay. What's it going to run spread?
51-43. I don't know. I'm just thinking something might. I don't know. I don't know if it'll hold together or not. If it holds together, it's going to freight train.
Yeah.
If it holds together, I think you'll go conservative to start and easily get down in the 7s, easy, and then you'll push it, and we'll see if the elusive 699 will come up.
I believe I'll get the 799.
Oh, I know it's capable. It should. It really should.
Yeah.
The question is everything going to align to get it? Like, is it gonna hook? Is it gonna do its thing? If it does its thing, it absolutely can.
It will hook.
You said the first time out, so that's kind of my key.
Well, the next time, it absolutely will hook. I have no question about it.
Well, the car was on it. It was on like an 840 last time before you changed the gears, right?
It ran in 886.
Right, but it was on
with
an 840.
410 gear.
Right.
Right? Slip in the clutch the whole way. And I was out of it about 20 feet because when I shifted high gear, just coming up to the stripe. So the last 20, 25 feet or so, I was off the throttle and slowing down. And I ran 886 doing that.
My thought is, I'm just guessing 828. How many full pull eighth miles does that have? It doesn't have many. Three, exactly.
It has 3 where I didn't. I have 5 eighth mile passes on the car. 2 of them, I blew second gear. I missed second gear. So I don't count those. So it's got 3 full passes. 989 was the first one. 919 was the second one.
Yeah.
Then 886, but the 886 was slipping the clutch literally the whole way.
So see, I'm right on target because it's got a half second quicker every pass. So when it runs an 828, it'll be a half second quicker on the next pass. I think when you have a full day of sorting it out, it'll easily be in the 7s naturally. If you get enough back to back, passes.
Well, okay, I'm going to go with you on the 820, 830 on the first one.
Yeah, right.
But I'm not acclimated to really driving the car yet.
Exactly.
I don't have I don't have the clutch leave. I don't have any of the autopilot things that you do to make a car actually ET down yet. So once I become familiar with it, I think it'll take me 2 passes to get familiar with it.
Yeah.
820 is probably about right.
It's got 7. There's no doubt.
820, 830 is probably about right without the clutch slipping.
Right.
And if I get it together and actually drive it, 790.
I think so.
790 something NA, and then I'll only really have to spray probably about 100 horse at it to get my.
He's not on just Mopar Joe, but his 360. He's got a relatively mild 360 with a lot of head work, and it's in a much heavier D100. That's 788.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's there. It is definitely there.
Well, here's the thing. The reason I'm being so conservative with the numbers is because I have to go overdrive transit now.
Yeah.
Which I know is going to shine when we spray it. So I'm going to give up a couple of tenths based on that drop from first to second.
Yeah.
But once we start spraying that thing, that's where that load is going to shine, and it'll march right through from about 200 feet on out.
He just needs more sorting.
Yeah.
318 or 360 for a truck. Both
360.
They're both winners.
For a truck, yeah, I would go with the extra stroke.
Yeah. Bruce asked a question about the G-Tech. Did anything else the G-Tech lately?
Bro, I did 3 whole shots in front of the shop. One night before last when I brought the car over there. It was late. I was the only one there. 0 traction. I did a burnout too, just to get the tires warm. Nothing, just slip and slide. Then I did 2 of them today, and nothing, like 0 traction.
It looks like it's on ice.
It looks like it's on ice. It's just, I come on. I didn't even. It's not that I even sized up the clutch.
Not even close.
I came off the clutch gentle, right? Like maybe 3,500 RPM, and I come off the clutch gentle, and I eased into it, and then just fucking slam it, and still nothing. It just, the car just skates all over the place. So the G-Tech is pointless with it. It's not. I'm not going to get any information from the G-Tech.
Those freshly sealed parking lots that slip under your feet when they're wet? It was just like that. It is a freshly sealed parking lot. Slick as can be.
No, but even if I do it because I've done this, I do it on asphalt, a regular street, nothing. I take it out. I used to take it out on Rutledge, the clean part of Rutledge, right? Nothing, just no traction. The car will not bite on the street.
Did not get to weigh bottle rocket. I left the scales out to weigh bottle rocket. We got busy moving.
Yeah. It was 3,086 pounds, 3,085 pounds the last time we weighed it. And I think I got about 10 pounds out of it since then. But he disappointed me today. You really disappointed me today. I was like, take it for a ride. And I'm expecting him to pull out, get used to it, and like, you know what I mean? He's just driving around. I'm like, come on, man. Fucking, let it rip.
You didn't give me like a quarter of a mile of like just cruising around. It rides actually really nice.
Doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
It's like a brand new car.
It does.
I know.
Get used to that ride. Got the bench seat in there. It's nice.
It's a comfy car.
Yeah, it really is. I was watching it idle today. Every single body panel shimmies because the door skins shimmy. The bumpers, the door skins is amazing. That entire car just.
Now, if you didn't know that car, you didn't know me, right? And
Yeah.
he says it's a low compression 318.
No, I would never believe that. No, I would not have believed that. No way. Thank you. Because we all know that my opinion revolves around what Earl Hickey thinks. What are you driving there, Earl? Is that a Laguna or some kind of Chevy barge in the 70s? What is that?
It looks like it's a Chevy. It looks like a Ranchero.
Yeah.
Not a Ranchero, El Camino. But I did break apart today.
Pinion snubber.
Yeah, I broke the pinion snubber.
Acid dip bottle rocket. What, do you want it to vanish?
It's too late. Well, I'm going to say it's too late. It's too late for the springs that are in the back. Now the car sits way too high. It's like I can't, you know what I mean? Because it's got a 4,000-pound suspension with a 3,000-pound in a 3,000-pound package. So it's a little, you know, I gotta do something. I gotta get the back of the car down about an inch. I don't need to get any more weight out of it.
Earl Hickey drives a 73 El Camino. The audio, you're right, because I had a friend that had a 73 Chevelle. It is the weird year. Does it have AstroTurf in the back? Did that come from the factory?
You know, the 73 Laguna was probably one of the prettiest cars Chevy ever fucking built.
Olive wants to drive Bottle Rocket. Has Wilford, has Buff driven?
But what does Olive say? Here's been another day of me both gearheading and being priestess in people's grief. In southern dysfunction. I bet I could drive Bottle Rocket pretty good. I bet you could, honey. You could try. I mean, you know, if you know, I'd be happy. Let's take a run at it.
Progress on the old Hemi. I got the old Hemi unloaded. It's ready to go on the stand this week. The 318 is a higher priority, but the old Hemi is in progress. There's another video coming up on it soon. What is this? Follow Uncle Tony's recipe on a 318. I did, and the machine shop dyno pulled 340 horsepower.
Yeah, I would say that's about conservative.
Okay.
I would say it's about conservative.
I think Bottle Rocket's got more than that.
I'm going to say Bottle Rocket's got an honest 385 to 400 horsepower.
Yeah, I think so. What is the perfect transmission for an 02 third gen Ram? See, that probably has that 545, you know, RFE or whatever. Those transmissions, they're not very durable. So to me, if I had that, I would want to do a 518. That's what I would want. Or like the 47 RE or whatever. That's what I would want in that.
I have zero opinion on that.
Yeah, well, but see, I wouldn't have that truck. But if I had that truck and it had to have a transmission, that's what.
What was the RPM that motor? Go back to that last one. Just curious.
Ooh,
the guy put it on there.
Oh, the one time I don't think he gave an RPM. He said he got 340 with 315 pound-feet of torque.
Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah, working with it.
Tell us more about what you did.
I don't really care about what he did. He says he followed the recipe, so I'm assuming he followed it pretty closely. I want to know what RPM it pulled those numbers out.
Oh, that's the transmit. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Would you use? I don't know. Couldn't tell you. It's all a whole bunch of electronics and stuff, and I don't even want to get into it.
Throw 727 there.
Let me tell you what I want
to
do.
Be happy.
I want to take those late model guts from like a 48 RE and use them in a 727 and scrap the rest. That's what I want to do. He says RPM, but see, 5,500. 5,500 RPM is where he got that.
Really?
That's what he said.
I'm surprised so low.
Oh, me too. Why not push it a little more? Was it still climbing? Surely it was.
Yeah, I don't know. Why did you cut it? Well, that's where it peaked.
Well,
I would have thought I would have thought closer to $6,000.
Well, yeah, but I mean, how much work happened to those heads? You know, I'm wondering what kind of cam. I would have thought. Yeah, I'm with you. I would have thought more like 62 or something.
Yeah, 6,062.
Right.
I would have figured about the peak.
Okay, he's asked this a bunch of times. Wankel rotary. That's the oddball question of the night.
I think rotaries are cool. I mean, I see I see what guys do with them. Is like the ones down in South America. They just they're just too far removed from my world to really get involved in it. But I love watching rotary stuff. I'm interested in rotary stuff.
I know that the rotary is underpowered, but I would love to see one in anybody just to see it.
They're not underpowered. They just have a weird torque curve or weird power curve. Like have you ever driven one? Have you ever driven like an RX-7 or anything like that?
I don't know that I ever have. I don't know that I ever have.
You gotta slip the clutch to do anything.
Oh yeah.
And nothing happens until you're up around 6,000 or 7,000 RPM.
That makes sense.
And then wham! I mean, the power is just crazy. It piles on all at once, but it's as close to it's like driving a two-stroke. It's just exactly like a two-stroke. There's no subs downstairs, and you gotta But when it turns on, bam! It turns on hard.
Jeff Allen, where in the world do you get that 48 RE guts are junk? I'll take the pump. I'll take the drum. No, they have good stuff in them. Yeah, O'Connor's like, the rotors are cool, but not for me. Okay. Now we went from toilet seats to transmissions. Better to build a 904 or 998. Yeah, I would agree with that. For most builds, most probably. The heavy car, I'd go with the 999, 998. You can find those in Dakotas. The two hot things to get from a Dakota are the starter and the 999 transmission. Yeah, I found this one funny. Levi ran a 318 with no rings. I can believe that. I can believe if any engine could do it, it would be a 318.
The Demo Derby guys use them because everyone went out cool forever.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They seized, and I mean, I can't tell you how many of those engines over the course of my life I've seized from overheating or whatever. And it's just like you let it sit for a half hour, you start it up, and it runs perfect, like no problem at all.
Yeah. Yeah, and I meant also, that planetary. That's one of the biggest things you get. If you're in a trans brake, you want that 6-pinion planet from the 48 RE. Yep, all day. Greenland wants to know why the FMX gets a bad rap. I don't know. It has a Ravigno planetary like a power pot. I think they're cool. So let's see here. I only had to post the question 25 times. You're just moderate. Okay, would you like to do it? You can come over here and do this and keep.
What was the question?
I don't have any idea. You can go with 280 people are asking. C4 was cheaper and better. The only thing I don't like about a C4 is that stupid modulator valve stuff. I never cared for that.
I mean, same with the Chevys.
Yeah, but I just never liked it.
The C4 modulators used to fucking rupture.
Yeah.
You'd always see one of those cars driving down the road with fucking white smoke billowing out the back of it. You knew it was, every other car was a head gasket, but if it was a Ford, it was the modulator on the C4. I miss being a mechanic back in those days.
Yeah, here's what it is. See, David here, the guy complaining is a half hour behind. He didn't do what I said and drag the bar over, so he doesn't know.
Oh,
so he's sitting here talking about us when he's in the past. I'll see his question here in about 30 minutes.
Okay.
And then, well, it's an open-ended question if ever one was. How'd you get into motorcycles?
I mean, just a natural alcohol. I had my first one when I was like 15, and then mostly into cars because I mean my main attraction was drag racing. So the bike thing came and went, but after I quit drag racing entirely, I just drove crazy into bikes, and for a few years, that's all I did was just bikes.
Oh, it's the guy asking about the link. We've already answered that, but David is apparently behind us.
Oh.
Yeah. He'll hear me say that he was behind us a long time from now. It's kind of like Back to the Future.
Guys, we do the best we can to, like,
Yeah.
you know.
Oh, really? We do. The only thing you guys can't see is that this streaming service does not look like your interface. The comments tick through one at a time, one at a time, one at a time. This one, they'll jump about 5 at a time.
There's a group of them.
Yeah, they jump as a group. And it's nice because we can highlight comments, but it doesn't. It's a little bit harder to read in real time. He's getting ready to jump again. See how it's been sitting? It's going to jump again. Harry keeps having lots of good questions. Hughes versus comp cams for the 318.
There's a comp roller in it right now. I can't really give an opinion. I mean, Hughes is known for Chrysler grinds. I mean, this is what they do. They do Chrysler, you know what I mean? And, you know, I'm not smart enough to second guess, you know, like I would never call Hughes and try to spec a cam, you know what I mean? Because it's like, this is your life, you know, this is what you do. Just tell me what I need, and that's what I'll put in the engine. Whereas with comp, which does a little bit of everything, you want to spec your cam. So I would say if you're doing a Chrysler product, Hughes is probably a better deal, a better way to go.
So where the Chrysler cam grind came from is back in the 80s and 90s. You would see cam companies using the same load profile on both Chevys and Chrysler. Right. And Chevy's used a smaller lifter.
Right. And
some of the Fords use an even smaller lifter still. The Ford used like an 842. The Chevys would use a 0.875 inch, and the Chrysler use a 0.904,
right.
which they do today. And so you can use a more aggressive ramp profile with a bigger lifter.
Mm-hmm.
And so to be universal, they would use a universal load that would accommodate all of the engines. Well, that's not so much a thing anymore. That's not even a thing anymore. But that's back in the day. That was an advantage Hughes had.
Hughes used to advertise real Chrysler cams because their loads were, you know.
If you asked me this in 1997, I would say Hughes.
Yeah.
Chrysler do it Hughes. But today they all computer design them for Chryslers. Joseph Giannini, where did he finally is here? He's always here. Comparison between a 318 and a 340. Look at dyno comparison.
I remember when we couldn't afford dyno runs and we did math and a lot of track time. It's all I ever knew.
Yeah, Chrysler's are gods for giving us Chevy guys 903s. Yeah, that's true. Now, I don't know what this means. Does it change anything having Indy head?
I don't know what
that's a wild question. Yeah.
Yeah, it changes your opinion.
Changes your wallet. Yeah. One of the many superior things about the LA motor is the bigger lift. Yeah, right. I agree.
Well, all Chrysler engines from that classic era use the same lifter.
They do.
You know, the Slant 6, big block, small block, Hemi, all use the same lifter.
This is a good one. I think you can run an engine only purely on things you can buy at the grocery store.
Probably.
Yeah, maybe. Is your grocery store in Russia? I mean,
I did. Let me tell you, along those lines, there was an engineer, Chrysler engineer, commented on a couple of our videos, and I don't remember his name. I'm sorry, but he was commenting on how he was in on the Slant 6 development, and that they had a diesel that was very promising, a Slant 6 diesel. And that is something I would like to play with at some point. I think I would like to build a Slant 6 diesel.
Greenway thinks that you have been in the same line as Smokey Unit.
Or could have cheated and no one would know. Bro, I cheat at everything. Okay, so it's like if you challenge me to something, anything, I don't care what it is, I will find a way to cheat. I will tell you up front, I am going to cheat. and I will cheat the entire way through. And when I'm finished and I beat you, I will say I beat you, but I cheated. So just keep that in mind if you ever come across if you're ever involved in any sort of competition with me. I will cheat. To me, competition is only about cheating.
The only downside to a Hemi is 16 iridium spark. It's a modern Hemi, right?
Yeah.
The only downside to a modern Hemi is a modern Hemi. Bruce is saying with a roller, the lifter diameter plays no part now.
Well, the roller diameter plays a part.
Yeah.
It's just a different version of the same thing.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it. You still have the same geometry challenge, but you've changed where it is. Right.
You went from one plane to the other plane.
Exactly. I was trying to think how to. I knew what he was saying, but I couldn't think how to answer that. The machine shop went conservative. I was running original valve springs, but have since been upgraded to Hillbrook. Sure seat non-rotators. That would be an excellent question for Austin Rogers of Paragon Engines in Baxter, Tennessee. I bet he would know that.
Austin Rogers of Paragon Racing Engines in Baxter, Tennessee could not only school me, but he could answer that question and school you.
Yes, he could.
Too. And I am pleased, by all means, if you know Austin Rogers of Paragon Racing Engines of Baxter, Tennessee, and I would love to do a live with him, anytime he wants, any night, any day, anytime, please come on here and school me because I need to be schooled.
And he can even promote his motorized engines.
He can promote, yes. He posts something named ProWorks motorized engine stand.
Yes.
And this guy actually has an engine stand. Listen, wrap your head around this, okay? It's a fucking engine stand that you push a button and it rotates the motor. It's only $2,000. I mean, could you imagine having all of that convenience for only $2,000 fucking dollars? Where you could just
steal.
You can press a fucking button and the thing spins over.
It is immoral to have convenience like that.
It is. I wonder if you could use it like a rotisserie. Like if you could take chickens and stuff to the engine.
Well, I've watched the video. They go at about the right speed, but I think the motor takes up too much room to be able to fire.
Honestly, seeing that there's something like a motorized engine stands makes me regret having arms.
You don't need to, for sure.
You don't need any of it.
No.
You could actually, if you had one of these ProWorks motorized engine stands, you can actually activate the button with your nose. Therefore, you don't need your arms, any upper extremities at all. Interesting shit.
So first of all, I want version 2 motorized stand that has Bluetooth, so I can just say, "Hey Siri, rotate my engine 46 degrees."
Nice.
Richard Riley has a super chat, and there's another super chat we missed apparently. Cheap way to get power from a 3050 TBI.
Oh God.
We're going to find that out actually pretty soon. I'm going to be putting one of those in a 78 Chevy truck.
Oh, you really?
Yeah. And yeah, we're going to be doing a carburetor. We're going to take a 350 TBI. We're going to be putting a carburetor. We'll see what it's going to do.
Yeah, Riley. Honestly, the cheapest way to get power out of a TBI is to convert it to a carburetor. It's very limited, the TBI setup.
Thanks for reminding me on that. By the way, you'd be surprised the way these things jump several at a time. Your super chat doesn't display very long. What did the Slant 6 refresh in 78 to fix the 225's oiling problems?
I believe, and I could be wrong, I don't know. I believe they flipped the second ring to move the chamfer to the other side.
Oh, really?
I believe that's the thing that they did there. But the big improvement they made, the single biggest improvement in the entire evolution of the 225 was 1981 when they reduced the diameter of the counterweights. Because the way that engine relates to the oil pan, the counterweights come at the front of the oil pan and at the very back of the oil pan. The counterweights come within 1/4 of an inch of the oil pan surface. Okay, and so any oil that's even remotely around there gets picked up and sucked up and whipped up into the assembly. So in 81 they reduced the counterweights by a huge amount, right? They also narrow the mains and the rods. They narrow the journal, same diameter, but narrower. And that is the single biggest. If you're building a 225/6, you have right. The single biggest improvement you can make to that engine is using a cast crank block and that 81 through 87 small diameter crank. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to almost guarantee that's 25 horsepower right there. Forget about what the ratings were or anything like that. That doesn't mean anything in the world of, you know, you will feel the difference. You'll hear the difference when you give this thing gas.
Big Bear could build 2 engines for the cost of a ProWorks motorized engine stand.
But can you, let's say, use safety wire? You can't use tape. But this is what I want to know about ProWorks, and maybe Austin Rogers of Paragon Engine Works
in Baxter, Tennessee.
Can get on here and school me about this. So let's just say I take a 273 Mopar. Let's make it a 360. So I take a 360 Mopar. Can I take safety wire, right, length of safety wire, and attach chickens and hot dogs to the motor, and then slide, like let's say a hibachi underneath? Will it act as a rotisserie? Will it evenly cook those foods? I need to know this.
Well,
I had a guy. I tuned the car for a guy. I'm not gonna say his name. Right? I'm not gonna say his name. I hate this motherfucker to this day. Right? So I tuned a funny car for this guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I know who it is then.
Yeah. So he had been in a fire. Okay. Right. And he was burnt. I mean, fucking burnt. Like 6 months in the fucking burn unit. They had to rebuild his whole fucking everything. Right. So I hated this fucking guy. He gave me nothing but fucking trouble, right? So we were getting ready to get. He was going to load the car the next day, right? If I finished the car in the shop, I went home. He was going to load the car in the trailer and go, right? Mm-hmm. So before I left, I went to a supermarket and I bought fucking chicken quarters and some hot dogs and stuff, and I taped them all to the roll cage. What? What better way to say fuck you to somebody? You know what I mean? Who spent 6 months in a burn unit, like tape chickens and hot dogs, raw chickens and hot dogs to his roll cage.
So here's another trick that we don't do. If you're somebody you don't like, forget and leave a bottle of milk under the seat. You'll find it a month later. Why don't we like you, Chris Greenway? What are you talking about? My gosh, what's not to like? And Andrew Buckley, why do you say the better heads don't fit 318s, only 340s and 360s? Huh? No, that's not true at all.
No, man, that's absolutely not
true. Or a fish fillet. Andrew's done this, you see. I'll tell you something else you don't do, of course, but we just talk about this for academic reasons. You know the 3-hole punches that you punch and it makes paper to go into binders? If you take that confetti and you roll it up in notebook paper and pour it in the defroster duct and then turn the fan all the way on. Yeah. Try that to somebody that you don't like.
What time is it?
Or don't. I mean, it's 10:55.
Yeah, I got early days.
It's the crazy hour.
We're going on 4 hours now. This is like twice the normal.
It has been a lot of fun, though.
It has.
Yeah.
This was definitely one of the more entertaining ones.
Yeah. I mean, thank all you guys. We'll wrap it up.
Yeah. What are you thinking this time? I'm just going to sit here and
I mean, well, so thanks Fubar and thanks Ari and thanks Zero for bouncing in my absence.
We love you guys.
Yeah, really appreciate it. Thanks all you guys for all your good questions and all that stuff. And thanks for your patience, because geez, I mean, it's sometimes it's hard to get to 271 people's questions and all that stuff.
Well, we had 400 at one point.
Yeah, over 400 at some point. And thank Kathy and Tony for their hospitality and having me on. Thank you guys for tolerating me.
The shop, man.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
It's been working the sale off last couple of days.
Thanks, it's been a whole lot of fun. Hope to see y'all again next week. I'll be on the other side, like hammering on people with blue wrenches next week.
So I guess that's it. Everybody contributed with Super Chat. Thank you so much.
Oh yeah.
You guys make this stuff possible.
They keep the lights on.
Turning, keeps the lights on.
Yeah.
Thank you. merch, garage.com, you want hats,
Yep.
t-shirts, all that stuff. Then don't forget to sub to John Wilburn's channel. John Wilburn.
Yep.
He does
That's
right crazy things from the future. John lives 8 days ahead of the rest of humanity. So
See, I drove the red bar until I couldn't drag it anymore, and that turns out to be 8 days ahead.
He's actually 8 days ahead of us. It's April to you. It's you. Yeah.
Look, see, it's not enough time to.
Today's Easter for you.
It's not enough time to bet on anything, so I can't get rich.
Okay. And what else? I guess that's it.
No, just.
Chris Greenaway, thank you seriously for staying up all night, every night, thinking of questions that you can ask us and making lists of them. Because I don't know what we would do without that.
Thanks a bunch. It's been a lot of fun. We ready to end this thing? Wrap it up?
Yeah, let's end this thing right now.
All right.
We love
See
you
y'all
guys.
later.
Thank you so much. See you tomorrow.
Later.